All right, welcome to another episode of Words with KB, man. We got the usual suspects in the building. What's up, Basic Logic?
Yerp. Is my mic on? I press this button here.
Bro, I don't think there's a button, but don't be pressing it, man. You're going to disconnect the mic, man. Wait, push it up, Ashley. No, just to. Do we need to do anything to the mic? Nah, so you just want to talk right here. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, so you can lean it up if you want to. Yeah, there you go. It's perfect. But, shit. Oh Lord. But we got two special guests.
One special, one regular.
Okay. I get where you're going with that. She's been on the podcast before.
Yeah.
You came on randomly, walking
Randomly.
by. So let's start with the new guest, MJ. What's good?
Yeah, what's up?
You introduce yourself to the people.
MJ Bridges. Live here in the A. Been here about 6 years. From the Midwest, Wisconsin. Stand up
boy.
262.
Oh boy.
Wow.
And also representing Alabama State University.
Okay.
So yeah,
I'm heading to the Midwest tomorrow, man.
Where you headed to?
Illinois, is that Midwest?
That's Midwest, bro. That's
I don't know anything
Land of
about
Lincoln.
the
That's
Midwest.
Land
the
of
only
Lincoln.
place in the Midwest you know.
Like, what's special about the Midwest?
It's
Nothing.
like the middle.
To me, it's like just a white blanket over most of it.
Well, the people have a dope history. Most of us, all come from the South.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just 2 generations away. Everybody grandparents or
Man.
even parents are born in like Mississippi or
Yeah,
Tennessee
yeah.
or something like that.
I wonder
Came
what
up.
so Mississippi and they migrated up.
Yep. I'm telling you, it's a relationship between I-55 that goes through Memphis. It hits St. Louis, and it go all the way up to Chicago,
Okay.
and you can head up to Wisconsin or Detroit or Minnesota from there.
That's interesting. But
Midwest
most of
So
them,
you'll find a lot of
basic-
people.
Midwest is basically where, you know, where they said the slaves were escaping north. That's really how far they got. Was the
they got that
Midwest.
far.
And all the way to Canada. They stopped in the Midwest.
Yeah.
went to
They wasn't
Canada.
going to New York. They
Okay.
stopped in Milwaukee.
And I feel like most of the interstates are like based off what railroads or something like that, because that's where the cities were made, like at railroad points. So I don't know. We also got Jennifer in the building. What's up? Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jennifer, and so I'm a financial educator here in Atlanta, Georgia. So I help students and young adults transition into life after school, and I talk about money. I love talking about money. It's one of my favorite things.
Money.
Yeah.
Can y'all shout out y'all socials right quick, man, so people can get it at the beginning?
Okay, go ahead.
At Young and Debt Free ATL. That's Young and Debt Free ATL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so mine is ADLT_101.
There it is. Oh yeah, we need to take these shots.
Yes.
It's time.
You so excited. Meanwhile, I'm like,
Time.
oh God. I don't like
All right, y'all.
Such a
To a good episode.
He
Come on, join us,
couldn't get out of
Jennifer.
this month, so thank
I
you.
know this will be Jennifer's
got
last
here.
one, probably.
I just got
You
here.
got the dark.
Yeah, that run be like Kool-Aid.
And mango hitting.
Yeah, it is. Come on.
Domingo's really good.
We're on camera. This nigga getting went cross-eyed and everything. Help a Lord.
Come on, HU.
Oh, did you used to drink like this in school? What happened? Did you just like lose it or something like that? You just was always like that.
Times have changed.
She wasn't always drinking, mixed drinks and shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas was taking only shots at one point. Like
You walked in the
Early
house like
20s.
here.
I do want to try that. I ain't
That
had
was like
I ain't had
early
Captain in a while.
I'm gonna try it too.
Yeah. I like
It's a no for me.
Oh yeah. But I'm really mad I missed that one music fest, man. Not mad because I was like, I would have had a bad time if I would went
You
there.
volunteered to not go.
Yeah, I was just out of the mood by the time. You know
That's
what I'm
fine,
saying?
whatever.
You know,
It would have been fun.
it would have been bad.
I'm disappointed. I've never been yet. So I
Never been-
I've
how long you
never
been here again?
6 years, bro.
God
I haven't been to any of the big music festivals.
It's too hot. They need to
Only thing
make
I've been
it
going
It is
is
hot as
J.
shit.
Cole concert.
It is hot as
October or
shit.
something. Like it was like
It was still
it was
like,
too hot to
you're about
really
to die.
enjoy it. Like and folks was literally out there about butt naked and still was like hot as hell.
Okay.
Oh, butt naked.
Nah, folks didn't have no clothes on.
yeah.
People had the new thing now is wearing the tutu with your drawers. I
The
think.
tutu with the draw.
Yeah.
What are you
What is
talking
that?
A
about?
little ballerina tutu, they wear that, but then they have on like a bathing suit up under it,
Okay.
like a thong.
I know
like,
they be
bikini
wearing
thing.
that to them like them like crazy festivals.
Wow, they
I
had
seen
that
Marion
on.
wearing some crazy shit like that. I like, Brand, what
Nah,
the
they
fuck you
they
got
had it
on?
on, and I was just like, "Why do you have it?" And I was like, "Oh, you don't have any drawers on. That's why you have that, so the police don't stop you."
Okay. Tutu, but is tutu the right thing? Or you
This
talking about the little
Tutu,
the little
the
one
ba-
piece thing?
No, the ballerina, the little, well, just the bottom part of the tutu, whatever that's called.
I don't know. I feel like tutu for kids, so I don't even.
It
It
looks
sounds
like
weird having this conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jennifer know what the hell it's called. She's just not helping.
I don't know what it's called.
But Jennifer, you went there. You had a good time, right?
I just went on Saturday.
You had a good time, right?
I did have a good time the time that I was there.
You went on Saturday?
Yeah.
She was there.
Where? To one music fest?
Yeah.
Nigga, whatever.
Why you say whatever? Why is this
missing
funny? Right. I don't know why it's funny.
I thought you weren't here.
Well, I came back.
And
I
then you
decided
went to the
kind
concert.
of at the last minute.
You
that
ain't shit.
I decided like
Wait.
2 weeks ago I wanted to go, so I just changed my flight and came back. But I don't regret it. I mean, I had fun on that day.
I wish I had money like y'all to waste tickets money. Kill me.
I only bought Saturday ticket.
I definitely
Who was
wasted a
there
lot of
Saturday
fucking
that
money.
you wanted to go see? Like, who's the line? What was the line?
Okay, so it was Travis Porter and Rosh Quadaz, Trick Daddy, Trina, Summer Walker. Gucci was there.
I don't know.
I didn't even see
Did
Busta
you
He
Rhymes.
got
set?
this song
He-
on the
he
radio
did a set,
with
or-
Drake now.
He was the headliner.
Okay.
So yeah, he was there, and then I didn't even see Busta Rhymes and 3 6 Mafia because they was on the other stage. And I was like, all this moving around.
Oh, it was two
But
stages?
It was three
Three
stages.
stages.
Oh, this is lit.
It was lit.
Yeah.
That's
It
what's
was
up.
fun.
I like that.
I feel like
Like
Busta
real
Rhymes
life.
got to sit down when he performed.
Nah,
he
I
got
like-
so big.
I like Busta.
big, too.
Confidence, you
Yeah.
was Busta.
So was Trick Daddy.
Oh yeah, true that. But he
But
got disease though.
He got lupus.
Really?
Yeah, he got disease though.
Oh.
He got that.
I would have had liked to seen. I would have liked to have been there probably Saturday because it was later, so I'm sure it wasn't as hot. Like by
I
the
was
time, not at 9, 10 o'clock.
Not at
eight.
9. Not at
You
9.
know what I'm saying? We were there like prime, like 2, 3 o'clock. It was like burning.
Y'all
like-
thugged it out.
Yeah. So like I said, if it would have been like later at night, then you had your little buzz. Everybody was sitting under the tree like drinking. They had some liquor there, some brown that I hadn't had before. It was actually pretty good.
What was it called?
Some with an M.
Did everybody just
Okay.
sneak their liquor in? Or
I
Yeah.
be scared to
Really
do that
good.
shit.
Oh,
Y'all,
man.
At
how did y'all sneak it
securing-
in? They was checking
I
purses.
got this lotion bottle.
But they say you only supposed to
Hack,
bring, you only supposed to
hack.
bring
You
a
gave it
certain
to me.
size.
that free
though.
hack right there.
No,
y'all.
no. Remember
Lotion
you
bottle.
bought me some.
Oh shit!
Yeah, remember?
I forgot.
A
Yeah,
long
They let
time
us.
ago.
They let because they were because we had like
done lost
outside
it
drinks
now.
and they was like, nah, I'll pour them out. And then you saw everybody just at the front just trying to rush and drink their drinks and pour them out. And people had to take their bag. They definitely wasn't checking too much because Tess brought her little pen, so we had that. So,
Yeah.
but everybody had blunts.
Niggas
in there.
definitely be sneaking.
Yay.
They put them in their socks and shit.
Yeah,
though.
everybody had their blunts. It's just the
Great
ladies.
idea.
The ladies' purses, they not really checking.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, they like look through like,
I
all
lost
right,
my
you ain't got no
tapestry.
gun, you good.
I lost my tapestry.
What?
My tapestry. Well,
I don't think black people
Sarong.
have tapestries.
no, well, I have a tapestry. It's not a tapestry. It's a sarong. I just like.
Wait, what is it?
Wait,
I don't
what
know
like a
is a
blanket.
tapestry?
Yeah,
It's just
I
like
don't
a
know what it
blanket
is.
thing that you lay down, but I left it by
Why did you
accident.
say blanket?
Because it's called a
How'd you leave it? How'd
sarong.
you leave it by accident? Were you that messed up?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I
That's
had
how
a
I-
good time.
Trash.
Had a good time.
yeah. Had an adventure.
Yeah, but
Trash.
yeah, we mentioned wasting money because I bought 2-day pass, two 2-day pass, which netted me about $400, and I ain't go. You know what I did?
It's on you.
You know what I did? I laid on this couch for about 6
I
hours.
know you didn't do shit.
And then I ordered Grubhub. I ordered me a whole pizza.
Let
you
somebody play
shit,
with your
bro.
food.
I ate it 75% of the pizza. Went to sleep. Woke up. Finished the pizza. And then I felt like disgusted with myself.
You should have.
But that's all right.
That's about 2 a.m.
Well,
That was my workflow
You
right
ate the
there.
whole pizza.
I mean, so you know that pizza place up the road, like you can't order pizza delivery from certain place because it's not gonna be fresh by the time you get the shit, and that shit wasn't fresh. And I was
You gotta
like,
go to Nancy's.
where?
Nancy's.
What is that?
It's I don't think it's, no. I think it is.
Is
Nancy?
that Georgia?
Nancy's Pizza. It's a Chicago-based pizza place.
Man, them damn
Uh,
big ass Chicago
no.
pizza.
Don't even
man.
get that. Don't even just get
Hell
that.
no.
What you do is you get the thin crust. You get the thin. And it's cut up in squares.
I
So,
like pizza like
Okay.
that. I like
cut
the
up in
thin
squares.
crust.
That's what I was used to.
Yeah,
Growing
I don't
up,
like
cut
that
up in
deep
Squares,
thin
like
crust.
little
Yeah,
squares.
it's just like
I feel like that's for little
they take the
kids.
entire pizza, they cut it up in squares. That's what I was used to. I didn't really eat pizza in triangles unless you went
That's
to
the
like
only way pizza come.
not where I'm from, bro. So where I'm from, pizza is one of the top 3 food selections.
That's true.
All right, and this is in southeast Wisconsin. That's because we're just about 50 minutes north of Chicago.
Okay.
So, but a lot of Italian spots up there, and what they do is they have like the circle piece. Instead of making triangles, they cut it up in squares and it be thin crust. I'm telling y'all, the pizza that tastes close to what I'm used to is called Nancy's Pizza.
And they got it in Atlanta.
I want to say no, it's not one up here. I know it's one in Midtown. There's one in Camp Creek. But the thing is so good. One day when you down there,
I gotta
sit
try
down
that.
and try that. It's right next to Krispy Kreme on Ponce. Right next to Krispy
Okay,
Kreme.
I gotta try that Nancy's.
Nancy's Pizza.
Yeah, because
Trust me,
the
it's
one
the
I like,
best.
it's a New York style piece. That should be busting though. That should be busting. You know what I'm talking about? That New York one.
Where
Got a
you get
movie
it from?
theater.
Oh, you like that?
It's like it's just a little random spot. It ain't like no chain or nothing. Just like a little random homegrown spot. That shit good as fuck, man.
Word.
It's
Is it the sauce that make it or?
Bruh, it's everything. Like they got the right amount of everything on there. It ain't too much. It's just perfect, you know. But it ain't perfect when you order that bitch from Grubhub. And then I waited 2 hours for it.
They probably ate your food too.
2 hours.
Yeah. So I ain't a fan of Grubhub. I like Uber Eats. Uber Eats come a little faster than
I
Grubhub.
don't like none of that stuff where they can play in your food.
You real like you like old men like be wary about. A bunch
Just
of
don't
shit.
believe somebody will play in your food.
Why would someone play in my goddamn food?
Take
Okay.
a shot.
Well, I got you to know. Yeah, I already took mine, man.
Yeah,
my
you
bad.
know-
You
I'm
wait
like-
for- hold on, I'm gonna come again.
You know people playing your food. They said like I
Why
think they
would
said on
somebody
Uber,
playing their food? What
I
do they
think
get out of
said
that?
Uber Eats. I mean, you get food.
No, I'm saying, what do they get out of that?
I'm not.
What do you mean?
What pleasure do you get out of playing in my
They
fucking
played
food?
in your food and you paid for it. You got to eat it.
So they just be like, ha ha ha.
Yes.
Niggas ain't doing that shit.
Okay. I don't mess with that stuff. They said I think they said over 60% of the Uber Eats people will eat your food.
You don't even read articles, nigga.
I read that in a tweet.
Exactly.
But I'm telling you, they planning it because you got to think. How many times did you, like when you were younger, when you got fries? Has there ever been a time where you've gotten fast food and got fries and never ate one of your fries out the bag before you got home?
I don't know where you're going with this.
And just answer the question.
Yeah, I always eat out of the bag.
Okay, so you think they not gonna get your food from the place and not eat one of your fries? It's just that's what you do. They're gonna eat your food. People's cars are nasty. I don't want my food in your car. Like, no.
My car is full of like
It's already nasty. You gotta have somebody mixing your food. So now I gotta pray for
scooter
the
residue.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
you gotta pray for
gotta
the
talk
hands
about
that
that.
made your food and to pray for the hands that's
Great.
carrying your food
That
too.
played in your
Your
food.
card have been through.
All right, money.
Yes, please.
Money. Oh yeah, money. You waiting to get back to money.
I am.
My bad.
She about sleep.
We go off on tangents sometime. So money. So I would like for y'all to tell what inspired y'all to get passionate about motherfucking money. Jennifer, you want to start?
Yeah, so I got passionate about money once I first got my first job. So I worked at Chick-fil-A with Tessa. That was my first job. And my daddy, he was always been cheap my whole life. He just rubbed it. I think I got passed down that in the gene pool. It passed down to me. And then he always would just be real cheap. I remember we was going to McDonald's and he'd be like, oh, absolutely not. You get water and put Sprite in your cup. He just anything if he could save 3 cents, he'd be like, oh, this is 3 cents cheaper. Whatever.
So you heard that and you was
he was so cheap.
You heard that and you was like, that's cool. Cause
That makes sense.
When I was a kid, I heard that. I'm like, man, we broke.
I was just no, that makes a lot of sense because logic, we could save all the money. Why would we spend this? We don't have to.
So your dad was the dad off Everybody Hates Chris.
That's literally him. That's him. It's that's my daddy. He was like, this is 3 cents for my ass. I close the door. That was my daddy. He was I remember even up to high school, if I rode in the car with him, he never cut the air on because he was like, not having the air on, that's building character. We don't need to use the AC.
He
he
hit
just
you
was
with that
cheap.
line.
He was so cheap.
the fuck was he saving by doing that?
I don't know, Tom. He said he was building character, but my point is he was just really cheap, and I was like, this is a great idea. Yes, save money, whatever.
That's real forward thinking for a child.
Well, I just thought this. I was like, this is great. And so when I first started getting my little Chick-fil-A checks, he would always be like, you got to spend half your money and save half. It was just the rule. It was that's how it is. You get $200, you save $100, you spend $100. That's what it is. And so I was just like, okay. So I just started doing that from a very young age. So I was 14, 15. Because first of all, when I got my first job, he was like, only reason I even worked at Chick-fil-A because he was like, oh, they sign work permits. Like, so normally you got to be like 15, 16 to get a job. He was like, oh, but Chick-fil-A will let you work if you're 14. And I approve. I would drive you to and from every day to this job.
I forgot about work permit.
Yeah, so, and you think you couldn't work past like 8 or 9 o'clock. Like, it was some rules. He was like, you better go to
They
work.
close at 9, so
Yeah, it closed at 10. So I was just like, he was like, you're going to this job and you about to go. And so I just was earning money from a very young age. And he was just like, that was just the rule. And so I kind of just took that, and like that's just been like kind of my narrative. And I've always since then just been like really infatuated about learning about money, like how to grow it, how to save it, different accounts. You know, even when I started earning my money like through programs or internships, I was get excited about saving or like building up my account because it gave me freedom. And also like even with that though, like when I had my job, I also during those time periods kind of learned the value of money, because once I got my job, my mother was like, oh, so you work, so I'm not paying for your lunch money, you about to buy your own toiletries, you about to buy your own gas, like you make money, you good. So I had to learn this lesson too of like, oh, save a half and spend a half, but also like I need these things versus like me wanting to go out to eat. Like I had to balance this because there's only but so much money here. So I had to learn that like really early on how to function with the money that I had, because I wasn't getting a lot of handouts because I was like, you have a job. Absolutely not. So that's kind of where my first money lessons started. And I kind of just have taken that forward and just like really being excited about learning about all different subjects about money.
Oh, MJ, what's up? What you got?
I
Gotta
don't
follow that
know.
up. You gotta know when was the
See,
first
mine-
time when you was like money.
Well, the big epiphany happened here. I was the big epiphany about money for real happened here. I was
here in Atlanta.
it was within 6 months of being here. I was on my way to work, driving down I-20, right before Wesley Chapel, and my gas light came on. And that's when I was like, oh, okay, let me pull over and get some gas. Got off. Was it across the street from the Popeyes? No, next to the Popeyes. And Chick-fil-A. Popeyes. Next to the Popeyes on West Chapel. And I had like maybe 2 credit cards and a debit card and no cash. And everything was denied, declined. So it was at that moment, I was about 25. A tear came down my face. Like, and that's when I started questioning myself, like, okay, I did, what I was told to do in terms of getting these degrees and things like that, and but I just really have nothing to show for it. And
wait, what did you do with the car? What did you do for gas?
Well, I wasn't.
I want to know the finish.
The gas light came on, so you still got enough to make it. So
Oh, okay,
I
you
was
made
only
it to
like
your
2 miles
destination.
from work.
Okay.
But and so I still made it home. It was like 12 miles from home.
Okay, cool.
And so but it was then where that weekend I went and had a one-on-one talk with myself. Okay. And that's when I started really my debt-free journey, and to start figuring out like why I spend the way I spend, and to really gulp all the money that I fucked up in the past, because I messed up on a lot of money that I had in opportunities with money. So
okay, but so most of your inspiration was internal though. It was like no outside the gas, but everything was internal. You just came to your own conclusion.
That's when I was just more aware to start the debt-free journey, but it made me more super serious too about money, if I could just use that term.
Right.
There was 2 other moments where like it's connected to money, but it was more like I knew I had to go make things on my own. But that was where I became like full circle with like, okay, let me be super, super intentional about my money.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? So and you got any question? Why I want to jump over him?
No, you can answer it now.
So what? So you had that moment, and what's the next step you go into? Like I see your journey started when you was a child. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you had a whole step. Like you never really slipped up past coming to college. Like I know a lot of people have those issues when they get the college refund checks, and like you throwing a lot of money and credit card and stuff, but like you got there, and then like what was your next step to like fix things?
Acknowledging, acceptance, facing your debt. And that's
the hardest thing right there. Acknowledgement.
That weekend was pulling my credit report up on annualcreditreport.com, and then just
Yeah,
really
free credit report every year, right?
That's
Come
right.
on, y'all, look at that. You
And
checking your shit, man?
I was able to then
Hell
really
no.
just connect with what I thought like the bills that I was paying and just make sure they all matched
Mm.
up. And I was like, I got to thinking because at the time I had like this YouTube channel. I was doing these motivational videos,
Okay.
or whatever. And I was like, you know, I moved to Atlanta to start something, right?
Right.
I wasn't really strategic or with anything. I was just like doing some stuff. And I was like, but I can't really do that if my just money jacked up because it was stressing me out. And obviously I can't be on the side of the road.
Right.
So my whole vision was, well, what happened if I just get rid of all of my debt? It would create more space, more opportunity, more time, more money for me to
Right.
do some of the things that I love.
Okay.
So that was January 2014.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna jump to the future and you know what happened after that. But let me go back to like high school. Like for both of y'all, was there like a lot of? I know you already had the money management. What did I do? But did anyone in high school kind of like usher you into like this is the way you should handle money? Like, cause I think it's like it starts a lot earlier on. Like people don't teach us that in school, especially if your parents didn't have that mentality that your dad had. So it's like, where do you learn it? You know what I'm saying? So did y'all have similar like situations in high school where nobody taught you about money in school, like in the system? That's what I'm thinking. Same question for you too.
Yeah, for me, I didn't get any explicit classes, which is why I teach classes on this now to students. But yeah, I didn't, besides my dad, which I mean, and my dad he gave me the tools that he had. So it was basically, you know, spend half, save half. But anything beyond that, as far as like credit or investing or how credit cards work, I remember my daddy, he didn't get a credit card till like I was in college. Like, wow. I mean, like, he didn't get, and I mean, like, a piece of plastic. Like, he didn't get a debit card even till I was like, he was like writing checks. He was like, I don't know about that. Like, no, like I heard that like it's a debit card. It's literally not a credit card. He was like, no, because that looks like a credit card. I'm not doing it. Like, he just was not having, he was very traditional. All he knew was saving, like just save money. It was never like invest or whatever else. And we just like get a job. Even to this day, he just like got a job. You saving money. You great.
So you haven't
good.
Brought your dad to like investment.
No, he listens to, he loves Susie Orman. So he's heard like things like this. He's obsessed with her.
Who is it?
Susie Orman. She's like this white lady who talks about money on TV.
Oh,
he like
people
he loves it. But it's just like, so he's learned about stuff through her, and like we have a very similar like knack for like learning about more money. But from his background, like I feel like he just was like saying like that was the thing. Like, just if I can get some cash in the bank account, I'm good. Yeah. And so I didn't have any classes or anything about that. It wasn't until maybe college, because I didn't even have personal finance in college. I think at my school now they have it, but I didn't have that in college. So we would learn about corporate finances, corporate accounting, but not necessarily how to do it for yourself. But I would seek out these things, and then my like epiphany moment when it really hit me was like when I graduated and I got my first job, and I was like, I don't know what any of this stuff means. Like, it was just really confusing, and like having a 401k, selecting investments, understanding the market. I was like, I don't know what any of this means. I have 2 degrees. This is crazy. So I just didn't have enough education around that. And then from there, it kind of really catapulted me to learn more personally. Right. But it was a lot of like me figuring it out by myself as opposed to being like a traditional classroom.
Okay. What about you, MJ? Any high school classes or anything that tried to teach you about money?
Hell no, I want no classes, but
Yeah.
it was more just like experience. It was like get money, like, you know, that was like the whole thing was
Get money.
Yeah, I mean, because when nobody else gonna pay for anything. Like, so my aunt raised me since I was 10, so I had some little adversity to come through, whatever, with my mom and dad. And my dad been in prison most of my life. Still live. Just went to see him a couple weeks ago, and so up in Wisconsin. So, but they, you know, we grew up a little fast, or we had to get what we wanted really fast. So my first job, I was cleaning the church at 12. My granddad's at church, and then at 14, I remember freshman year, I remember getting my first job like at a little restaurant around the corner from the high school. And it was on and popping when I saw those checks.
Yeah.
And so from there, I was just a hustler, and I worked 3 jobs in high school. I had the restaurant job. I worked at the YMCA, and I also was a DJ.
Okay.
So I used to throw a lot of parties, and I just knew I had to make money.
Yeah.
Like I kind of like it was like making money, but in
Right.
terms of like,
That's
I didn't
why-
really learn. I feel like I learned that I had to make money for myself, but I didn't learn really all the other stuff. I was making it and it was flying out the door, but I was investing back into my DJ business.
Okay.
I do remember that. Like, I remember like I was
Buying new
already
equipment
doing
and
something
stuff.
like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had like 3 cars in high school.
Okay.
Most of us,
Right,
Dope.
let's-
Dope
all right,
boy.
damn.
but there was like 2 of them was like
Flex.
hype cars. Like you just bought them from like some hype or some Mexican
Oh my
on the south
God.
side,
Okay.
and then like
Oh my God.
He had some money. He
Yeah.
make some money on
It's a
that.
hype of crackhead.
I don't know what a hype is.
Yeah.
That's a
yeah.
Midwest
So, like,
term?
Yeah. Oh.
I ain't never heard of it.
Oh my
Okay, yeah.
God.
So like, it's not crackhead, and so like
It's not
people used to
offensive,
get
is
like
it?
hype rentals, as where like they're. I didn't because I wasn't selling drugs, but cousins and partners, they get
I
some
got
hype
you.
rentals. But I bought like a $500 car at the South Side.
Oh, okay,
Something like-
okay.
Yeah,
And
something
then you
like
fix
that.
it up and do
Or
whatever.
I would like put my DJ equipment like it was like a truck, like a little
Yeah.
old car and stuff. But that was the beginning of me like establishing my hustling mentality.
about money, but
Yeah,
it
it's
seems
more about
like
money,
it
though.
seems like we are preached to like get money. Like
Mhm.
motherfuckers always telling us to get motherfucking money, get money, but they're not telling us what to do with the
Nah,
money once we get it.
Exactly.
And then we like just
That's
buying
alert.
the shit,
That's it.
and then trying to do this. You know what I'm saying? So get money. I like when you said get
Get
money.
money.
It's just like yeah, niggas
And
know to
there was
get
a
money.
Second moment,
Mhm.
it was right after undergrad, and I needed a new car. And I remember asking my granddad because he the only one I thought maybe would do it, to put a car in his name. It was like a used car for like $8,000.
Oh wow.
Yes, I moved to Indianapolis then from Alabama, where I got my bachelor's from my master's program. And he was like, no, and that was a big
How did that
moment.
make you feel?
Like shit, because I was like, I was, the only first generation college, the grandchild. I'm very responsible. I was gonna pay it back. I needed a
Right, right.
co-signer.
Did he say?
And,
Did he give you a
was
reason?
like- Because he didn't want shit in his name.
Yeah, smart.
He was
Smart.
just- and so, but that was another moment where I was like, I had to get this on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And so then some years later, that happened on the side of the road here in Atlanta. But that was like
yeah.
a part of the layer to the cake, I
It
guess.
seems like a lot of your stuff revolves around cars. That's I always say about a car. Like you always
I
bring
mean,
up
this
a car,
is true. We still
and then the
doing
car,
the car.
and then the car,
That car getting you together.
and then the car.
Ain't it? Hold you down.
Car's the bomb.
Yeah. Okay, you got a car thing. So basic logic, man. Was there any point where you felt early on in your life that money mattered, or your mindset changed around money?
I think I'm like the average, kid that kind of looks like us. We didn't really learn much about, say, your parents might have told you to save and they told you, but they didn't save themselves. That was just like, hey, you should say this, but it was always like, okay, we got to work because we got to pay bills. It was like kind of the check to check mentality. I remember getting my first job was in, middle school, high school, about, did a lot of yard work and watching dogs, getting $5 here, $10 there and stuff like that. Just trying to work because my mom was like really cheap as far as it came to like what fashion and stuff. Like she was like, what, shoes, $40? Hell nah. And if y'all know, like as a dude, like you can't buy no name brand shoes. It's like, now it's like 100, but back then it was like 60, 70.
You had to do 60.
And I wasn't never really into Jordans and all that stuff like that, but I wanted some Air Force Ones. And I remember
Listen,
I
then he
wore-
came right on back, ain't it?
Hey.
Right on back.
No, nobody wearing Air Force Ones.
Yes,
out here.
yes, they are. So
Shit,
you
they
don't,
back.
so you don't be around the
endless.
Gens of Z. Gen Z, that's it. I'm telling you, that's like a
I
throwback.
gotta talk to my sister.
That's a throwback.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
classic.
He said hit him up.
That's like MJ got a little tolerance on him,
Yeah,
You can do this.
nah, but just I remember working all summer to get those. I don't know if it was popular up there, but y'all remember a brand called Jabot?
Yeah, of
Bro,
course.
come on now.
Hey, I think I thought that was just a Southern thing, but Jabot was, and it's so stupid now that I think about it because
stupid,
Because I worked all summer. This is when Riches was around, which is now Macy's.
That shit used to be called Riches?
Yeah, Riches.
Riches?
Yeah, Riches.
I remember fucking Riches. That's Macy's now?
Yeah.
God damn.
Wait. No, I thought Macy's like been around forever. Like the Macy's
They've been
Thanksgiving
around
Day
forever,
Parade.
but they used to be called Macy's. I mean, Macy's used to be called Riches. They were like a brand of each other or whatever. Okay. But so I remember I worked all summer to get this Jabot outfit, and it's so crazy because the shirt was literally like $45-$50 in shorts, jean shorts. They had the little yellow Jabot strap on them was like $70-$80, and of course the Forces, the white, the all white low tops, they was like $75-$80. So this is like
that's about 160.
It's like a $200 outfit, you know. So it's so crazy. I did all that, and I remember, I was like, thought I was fresh, and my mom washed it, and my mom is like real big. She old school. Washing clothes. She like sorts everything. But I love my mom to wash my car, and I love her to death. But she would shrink your shit.
Yeah.
And she shrank that outfit. Boy, I was so sad, man. I was like, come on, bruh.
Oh, man.
But
Where'd you wear it to first?
I mean, I wore it to school. Like this is like a first day, first day back to school. You fresh. But it was like that's when I really started noticing. I was like, damn, I don't really want to waste money like on clothes and stuff like that. I will always get like one or two things that was like kind of name brand, but I just hated wasting my money because you would make money to spend it, and I still really never knew how to like save. I knew you were supposed to save, but I would just save to get what I want. And then your money would be gone. And that's what definitely I want to talk to you guys about, because a lot of people know, okay, save. And I'm still, even in my early 30s, I'm like, okay, I'm saving this money, but what the hell am I doing with it? Because you just having a whole bunch of money in a savings account ain't doing shit. And because in 10, 20 years, it's going to be like, if you just leave money in a savings account, let's say you save it for 40 years, you saving $2,000-$3,000 a year. That 50,000-60,000 that you got saving in an account is not going to be worth today what it is in 20-30 years.
Inflation.
That's true. That's
so
inflation is real.
And I think I went to a conference this weekend with work, and they had my VP had his financial advisor there. This real money, and just listening to him. Man, just the stuff he was just talking about as far as, not even really stocks and bonds, just regular saving and HSAs and just different things like that. And we like, damn, we could have did that. Or hold on, there's the Roth 401k thing.
Yes.
That's
like just all type of stuff. Like, cause me, like, even with my job now, like I'm doing my 401k and I'm putting it as much as I can, but I don't check my shit. Like, and it's like I need to do better with that shit to just make sure what it's doing. But I think it's because at a young age, most people, like our parents, are like, hey, do as I say, not as I do, because you watched your parents really not. I know me personally, I watched them, they bust their ass and working hard, but weren't able to really be in a financial position where they could be like, okay, I'm saving this amount, to do this, and I got this money in case this happened. Because the average person that you meet of color that looks like us, like if something bad happens, like let's say emergency, and they got to fly out somewhere, they gotta ask you to borrow the money because they don't have $300 or $400 in an emergency fund to just be able to throw. And then people are either they don't have the money or they're scared of the credit cards. But I tell people all day, you need to have one, because if some emergency happens, you need to have your credit card. You shouldn't just want to just throw out $1,000 in there. And if you do have it on there, then use credit, because I feel like credit is good to have. The people the people that I meet that really have the funds, they don't even spend their own money. Everything is credit or properties they own, other people giving them money. They're not spending their own shit. So
that's smart.
Yeah. So I guess what was you saying?
No. Go ahead.
I guess the question I would pose to you guys, both of you guys, and kind of with the financial thing is like, what is like for people who, because I think a lot of times we don't start saving. When I say we, I mean us, black people. We don't start saving until we kind of can not be check to check, which is hopefully, in your late 20s to early 30s. Like, and it's sad, but that's what it is realistically. And it's still some people who is like, they got good jobs, but Atlanta is horrible with it. People that got great jobs, but it's like, if your job fire you today, you'll be on the street. Like, yeah, you can have a job that's paying you $150,000, $200,000 a year, but your expenses that you're having, you're just kind of working to pay the bills. And like, what do y'all feel like is a good, I guess, amount to save each month? Like because some people are like, well, I don't know how much to save, and like
that's a loaded question. Right?
Well,
It
I
really
guess
kind of is.
I guess
that's a
not
loaded
loaded.
question.
What is that? Didn't we look up what the average salary was?
So you can. So I think the average amount that Americans have in the bank is like between it's like less than 2,000. I think it's a very low amount, like across the United States, because people just like I said, a lot of people are check to check. Or whatever, and like the 1% has so much wealth, and then the rest of us are just like whatever.
1% and the rest of you niggas.
Basically,
That's it.
they can wear that.
It's the
and the rest
truth.
of you
They can
niggas.
wear that shirt and just be like, "This is a fact."
And the rest of you niggas. That's
but
it.
but yeah, so I mean that opens up the conversation to I think transition from us growing up, all we hearing is save, save, save.
You don't even
You know
know
what I'm
how
saying?
much to save or what you should be saving.
Yeah, but like I said, that's a loaded question because it depends on your situation. Like, depends on the
What do
amount
y'all
you can
feel like
afford.
a real, like with you coming, like, so that, because you kind of glaze over that, but we know them checks at Chick-fil-A were number $60.
That's
Talking about
correct.
half and half. So
Yeah.
with that, what do you feel like? Because I feel like we need to start saving at an earlier age. Like definitely have fun and, set aside your fun money, because that's Latin to get that. Just be
Man,
like,
when
hey,
you young, fun don't cost no fucking not that much fucking money. You get a bottle of liquor and you can have some real
But
fun.
I'm just saying, what do you feel like coming out of college, like
come out, what?
I'm just saying, coming out of college, you may be making, and it's sad because we got 4-year degrees where you got $50,000 in student loans and your job barely paying you $30,000-$40,000 a year.
But that's the time though.
But
That's
what
the
do you
time
feel like
to
is a
invest.
good? Well, the reason why I say that is to say, like, what do you guys feel like is a good savings point to be at, like, far as money,
Savings point?
like,
I
far
mean-
as your money, like, how much should you? Because realistically, you probably won't be able to save half of your check. So, what do you think is a good percentage of whatever your check is going to be for you to save?
I mean, I think like it's just like it's very nuanced. So it's just like savings is gonna be depending upon like your expenses. So it's just like it's a balance, right? So if you're in a situation, regardless of how much money that you make, there's only way that you could save more money, that you earn more money, you spend less. Those are only two ways. That's the only like way that you'll have more money to like save. So if you're in those situations, first of all, if you're not saving anything, it's better to save $1, $5, $10 than to save nothing, just to get in the habit and the practice. Because when people ask me all the time, like, oh, how are you so good at saving or budgeting, whatever. But I talked about even on just now, it's like I've been doing this since I was like 14. So that's a long time.
You're not
so
the
it's
norm.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like it's different if you like now you 30 and you trying to start, like you built up this habit over 30 years and now you have to try to get back into the habit. So if you're in a situation to where you aren't saving anything, I would say just start with like $1. Like something really simple, just get in the habit of being like, okay, whatever, I'm gonna save this. And then you can increase it over time. It's like a lot of things about money are emotion based as opposed to just dollars and cents. So I like to use an analogy a lot of times about like working out. So like if you work out or whatever, and a lot of us, like you say, oh, I want to lose weight. I want to get a 6-pack. I want to do this. And generally the way that you get it is just by, working, like going to the gym, moving more and eating right. And we all kind of know what that is. But why is everybody not in shape? We all know what to do, but we're not in shape. It's because there's something that happens between you knowing what to do and you actually doing it. And it's the same thing that kind of happens with money. And so I think different, like beside from like identifying like how much dollar amount that people need to save, because there's so many fluctuations in salaries and circumstances and expenses and stuff like that, just really focus on getting into the habit of saving and then, adding more to the point where you'll see like when you do something gradually over time, it becomes a habit. And if you increase it gradually, it feels less painful than if you go from, okay, let's say maybe I make, $3,000 a month and I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna save $500. And then maybe you do it the first month. And the next month you're like, ooh, I'm gonna say like 200 because this thing came up. And the next thing you know, you saving less and less and less. Whereas you had built up to it and you kind of got in the habit of it, it'll be more ingrained in you. So I think a lot of ways are to answer your question. It was like, as opposed to focusing on the amount, really kind of focus on the habit or the behavior, and you can like work on that. It's kind of like getting in shape or like flexing your muscles, like really kind of getting in the habit of this and making this more of a lifestyle, and as opposed to just trying to doing something really radical or out of the norm if you haven't been doing this for the last like 30 years of your life.
Yeah. What's up, MJ? What you got?
I love what she said. I think like I'm new to savings actually, so I was operating a lot on, I think what they term like a zero base budget. I would like make my money and then I will literally get rid of all of it to pay off debt.
Why is that? Yeah.
Why was I doing it? One, cause I knew I was hooked onto my side hustle. Like I knew that I'll go back and make the money. Like I feel like money came a little easy to me if I needed to make a certain amount. Well, not the amount I want to make yet, but like the amount that I needed, I will find out how to make it. You know, I will work my way. I will find another job, whatever.
Right.
So that's why I was doing it. And then two, I did use or have like a credit card.
Okay.
And it's like 14 credit cards. So like out of the 14, it's always like 3 that was no interest. So I was like, if something was to happen, I need to go home.
Hold
or
on,
something.
what? Don't glaze over that. You said
like,
14?
Yeah. I got like a lot
Y'all
of
ain't really
credit
got
cards.
into MJ story. Y'all need to get
And
into the story.
so like a few of the credit cards was like no interest cards. So if something was to happen, I was like, okay, I could just use that in case an emergency happens.
Yeah.
For me
Emergency
or something
card,
like that.
for
So
sure.
I would just use that and won't be interest calculated, whatever. It did pile on to the debt, but hopefully in most cases, like it wasn't a lot of emergencies or whatever. There were some. So that's kind of how I operate now. That I'm on the other side, I'm very goal based. My goal was to eliminate debt, and that's what I did. And it took me a long time. And so now the goal is to save. Now my goal now though is to save my entire 9-to-5 check. Like that's like my big goal right now. Like, so I've got it to where half of it is saved. So I'm trying to get the other half.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm gonna try to get into, rental property or something to take care of my side of the rent.
So you transition to make your side hustle your main hustle. And
Yep.
then
The side hustle would take care of my
everything.
like my scooter side hustle takes care of my monthly expenses like my gas, my grocery, my haircuts.
Can you chat about your side
Cable.
hustle so people understand?
Yeah, did you kind of get my
please get
savings
into
thing
this.
a little bit? Like it's
Please.
kind of like, well,
Yeah.
I don't have a direct answer. I think it was more because how I operated, like the type of way that I was managing my budget. Like now when I go out and do like personal finance courses or whatever, I always have a savings part in it. And it's based, like I would look at like based on income. Like there's this rule of thumb to save 3 months worth of like your living expenses.
Emergency fund.
Yeah, I would
there's
shoot it
rules,
to up
like 50, 30, 20.
like 6 months, like
that's
for
how I do
because
it.
there's some people I just know that just it's hard to get a job. I've been fortunate. I'm a high school math teacher. Like I can quit tomorrow, and I'm very confident I have a job within 7 days. Like I've never had that
Sound like
issue like with getting a job because of my what my degree is in or whatever my expertise. So because of that too, I am a little bit more risky and confident with that zero based budget or whatever. So
Wait, can you explain what a zero-based budget is?
it's like you get your money
people
and
know.
everything is like accounted for. Like,
Okay, I just
so
want that
like
that
every
said.
cent is like accounted for. So I know where everything is going. And at the time, these past 5.5 years, the majority of that was going
Going
bills.
to debt.
Like going to debt. It was going to bills. I have like a buffer of like $40 because I'm like super I'm like the middle part of a lot of social
Oh,
circles.
man, you can't be
So,
social with $40.
Bruh, we got to talk about that.
You
So
got- I
I
need
had
the
to curve
tips.
a lot of people. I
need
had
the
to curve a
tips.
lot of stuff. So some people pop in town here and there. I'm like, look, I got a bottle. You go get the wings or something.
That's it.
We at the crib.
Boy,
We can hit a dive bar up here.
I need it.
You don't
But,
need no bottle of $40. You need the little baby bottle that be behind the liquor store. Like when you go to purchase your liquor, let me get that fifth.
So that was like kind of my lifestyle. But now though, I'm new to savings, and
Yeah.
I'm looking forward. Like I said, my goal now is to not touch my 9-to-5 check, and
Okay.
I hope to reach that this spring.
Okay.
Now,
I mean,
King-
there are other things, like how he was mentioning, like zero base, and there's 50, 30, 20 rules and like the 6-month emergency fund that people say, but I feel like all of this is like relative to what your situation
Amen.
is.
Yeah. I think so.
Amen.
The main part I get out of this is You need an emergency fund.
That's ideal.
Everyone, no, I think everyone
needs
one.
it. I think everyone absolutely needs it. I'm just talking about if we like across the gamut, like if you just not new to saving, you gotta get your habit. But ideally, yes, you would like to have.
Yeah, I'm not saying how much that is.
Everybody has a number. Your number is basically your expenses. How much it will cost you to live for 3 to 6 months. So let's say your expenses are $1,000. You need $3,000. That's your emergency fund number. That's what you would be shooting for, ideally. Right. Like in a perfect state.
Okay. So, but everybody needs an emergency fund because you don't know what the fuck is going to happen.
Now,
that's the problem with that.
Because a lot of times, I think people save for certain things. Like me, I just got married not too long ago. So like, thank you. So it was saving, for the wedding, even though I didn't really save for the wedding. I was just like, hey, this is due. I got to pay this. But like a lot of times, like, because a lot of people save, like it seemed like you saved with a purpose. Like you were like, hey,
imagine we would have saved for it.
Yeah,
it wouldn't hurt.
I like that. Yeah, because I'm very goal oriented. Yeah, I like that. Save with the purpose.
No, but like with me, like I didn't necessarily, not saying I didn't save for the wedding. It was just like, okay, I have this in my savings just for the wedding. Because a lot of times, like we don't really save like with the purpose. Like I was saying, you kind of just save and you're like, okay, this is what I need. I need this amount. I want $2,000 for this. But it's like, do you guys believe in like I want a savings that I like legit don't touch. And I have my 401k, but I'm like, I have like multiple savings accounts where I'm like, all right, this is some shit I'm not touching. And then this is for the house or this is for this. Like, cause a lot of times people save and then they're like, okay, they save for a certain amount and you're like, okay, I saved to do this. I'm saving for this trip to wherever. And you save and then you use all the money and now you have no money.
Yeah.
So like, do you guys have advice on, cause I know you guys are both kind of like extremes with yours, what you saying, like you kind of count every penny.
Well, I mean,
I
zero-based budget.
I actually don't even budget for real. I have a no budget.
She been doing so long though.
That's what I'm saying. Like I said, my personal strategy that I use, like, so my friend Sierra, I don't do budgets.
Shout out to I don't do budgets
podcast. What's up, C?
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all check out that podcast.
So, like, even for me, like I said, because it's a habit for me, like it's a long-standing habit, I don't necessarily count every penny. Like, so zero-based budgeting, like he was saying, is like your money comes in. So you get $1,000. This money goes to rent. This goes to bills. This goes to savings. This goes to whatever. And so let's say
I got $50 left over. Let's go.
Well, no. So here's what happens. So it comes into your account. Let's say you get paid or whatever. You get $1,000. Let's say in that account will go to zero. So but everything has a place. So you will put money into the savings account, into the 401k, into the gas, into your debt, whatever. And this account is zero. So when you get your next paycheck and it's $1,000, it goes everywhere. Goes back down to zero. So like zero-based budgeting like that, to where it's like, no, I put every single dollar somewhere. It's gone. I know where it is.
Isn't that living check to check?
No, because listen, like I said, every dollar has a purpose. So let's imagine like you have a bank account, right? You get your paycheck, direct deposit, it's $1,000. Comes in this one account. That's your checkings account. You put $200 into savings. You put $300 into your 401k. You put $200 into gas, this much into groceries, whatever else. That account, that's your direct deposit account, goes to zero. But that doesn't mean you didn't save. You put that in savings. That don't mean you didn't invest. You put that over here. That's zero. But in your next 2 weeks, you put your $1,000 and it goes out again. So it's like not, it's zero-based budgeting. So every pay cycle, you goes back to zero. That's like one style. But what I do is I call it the no budget because I don't necessarily focus on like every single dollar like that, because I have this like long-standing habit of saving that I just, pay my bills. I save a certain amount percentage of my income. It goes off to an account, like you said, that I don't see automatically.
Don't even think about it.
And I know everything else in this I could spend to zero. It don't matter how much I spend on this account because I've already saved X amount of percentage of my money. All my bills are paid, and this it's gone. Like I could spend this down to zero, and I know I've done everything that I need to do. So I only have to worry about that. I don't have to worry about how much I spend at Starbucks, how much I spend on brunch, how much I spend on food. Like I just know that this amount of money is the amount that I have, and it's a hard stop for me because it's different. It's this account, and then my savings is over here, and my investments over here. I don't see it. I don't touch it. So I call that the no budget. And like I said, there's so many different styles and methods. Like I have clients who use cash because they're like, oh, if I go out on the weekend, I know if I only got $200, I can't overswipe $200. Like that's what I'm saying. All of this is such based off of feelings and emotions as opposed to just dollars and cents, because you could do the same thing that I'm doing, like if you add it up, but it feels different when like there's money, when your account goes down to zero in between your paychecks, or it feels different if you take out cash. It feels different, you know, if you keep all of your money in one account and you don't, you know, put it in savings versus checkings. Like all these things create different feelings, and that's kind of really what you're trying to figure out. It's like, what feels the best to me? What is something I'm going to be able to keep up with that's going to, you know, align with my lifestyle? I think that's the most like important thing. We're trying to figure out how to work with your money.
Ain't that Kanye is talking about feels? How I
she
feel.
said that. Jane,
How I feel.
Now, how do y'all
The dark
feel
fantasy.
about? Well, MJ, we of course you know you must like credit cards because you talked about having
yeah.
14.
So
like
I kind of,
Wait,
but
wait, wait. Let me touch on something she said,
Oh,
man.
okay.
How the feel.
It's hitting
Nah, for real.
Liquor hitting you a little bit.
What, talking about the drinks or
It's
the
hitting you a little
feels?
bit. The liquor.
Chill out. Nah, the feels is real, right? Because that depends on what budget-based system you need to fall into.
Yes.
Because you can try so many budgets, but it don't matter if it don't work for you. It's just like the workout things.
Yes.
money mindset.
You got money mindset. Y'all
Very
know all the
important.
money terminology. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to change this shit so regular motherfuckers understand it. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So you hearing this, and you gotta find a money mindset that work for you. And I think that's the hardest part for people. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, everybody want to work out and look good and shit. Yeah, that's the end result. But how the fuck you gonna get there? The process. You know, how you find out a way to do something that's painful to you. And I think saving money is painful to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? Because they
Doesn't
used
have
to.
to be.
It don't have to be,
It's
but
not the norm.
I think for somebody saying, I just want to go out and buy some Popeye Chick-fil-A Popeye chicken sandwiches. They just want to do
He said
that.
Popeye's Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Right, come on now. Mixing
both
them
of them
up.
together.
Maybe the drinks are getting to me.
That's a little bit. They're getting
Maybe
a little bit.
a little bit.
They hitting a little bit. Okay. All
Inch
right.
away.
How many shots you need?
Hey, they sold out, so it don't matter.
I mean,
But I'm saying that
makes
you gotta
sense.
find that, you gotta find that, like, how do you find the right thing that works for you? You just gotta try them all out.
Well, I think she had said, she touched on that a little bit, and I like that point that Jen made about how it's just about getting in a routine. It's just like,
Man,
'cause
that's easy to say.
no, but like everything works. Try whatever works better for you. MJ's may work for you. Jen's may. With me, I'm kind of like, wifey makes the budget. She's like, hey, this is do this and that. Send this to me. I'm like, cool, you got that. I saved my point, and the
That's
rest
like
of
your whole
it,
situation.
yeah, I can do what else I want, whatever.
that's,
Because
that's an interesting strategy.
Yeah, and that's
'Cause
how
that's an interesting strategy. That's
Yeah.
all I say on that now.
yeah. So
And I,
But no, that's what works for me. Me personally, I know money is important. I hate dealing with money. Like I don't like
Me
talking
too.
about how this costs this and this costs that. Like I grew up watching, members of my family like stress over bread. And I was like, I don't want to be that. That's one thing I'm not gonna worry about is I work every day. Like God bless me to be
You
able to get
working
up
a
and
lot,
work.
nigga.
Yeah, I work every day, so I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do when I want to do it, and I'm gonna save my money, and I'm gonna also spend it when I can too. But I don't stress about stuff. I'm like, hey, if I got it, I got it. If I don't, I don't.
Yeah,
But
but-
that's kind of how I like to fly with stuff.
And how
That
I been
sounds
going
cool.
through it, man, I feel like I be like, everybody like saving all this shit, but I be like, man, what about right now? You know what I'm saying? Like
You
this.
can enjoy
Right.
yourself.
No. Let me go a little deeper in what I'm
Okay,
saying.
come on.
I'm saying that I be reading if you look at my phone, all the articles about how to be a millionaire from saving, because I be reading about this shit all the time.
do you?
I be reading.
Wow.
Every other article on my phone from Google News say how much I need to save to be a millionaire by this age or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And I be like, okay, I'm gonna sacrifice a lot. I'm gonna sacrifice
To
a
be in
lot
that
to be
Porsche
a
when you
millionaire
60.
when I'm 50. You know what I'm saying? Or 52.
nigga,
but
not
I'm like,
No.
Not 50.
and I be like, right now is the
62.
time for me to be doing things to follow my dream, do all this shit. But I'm saving, $1,000, $2,000, whatever, a month or whatever, trying to save for the future. But
But I'm like, what about right now?
You could do both.
You really can't. So I mean,
I don't see it.
you can't because it's just like there are also it's kind of a fire principle, which I can talk about too. That too.
Who?
But it-
Explain what fire is. 'cause
not right now, but I'm talking about the point is
I need to schedule that guy.
The
on here. I ain't got him
principle
on here
is that you do things that are fulfilling. Like it's not about sacrificing or saying I can't do whatever. That's why like budgets and all that stuff feels constraining. But the point is you're supposed to like say do what you like to do. So there'll be like people who say, oh, you shouldn't go out to brunch, you shouldn't get coffee, you shouldn't do whatever so you could save. But if that really makes you happy, I say like you should do it. Like you should go out and you should do it or whatever. And everybody's kind of
Not counterintuitive.
no, but it's just like everybody's threshold is different. So like when I was paying off all my debt, right? So I graduated and I had student loan debt. I had a car note and everything. But what I really wanted to do is I wanted to travel internationally. Like I was passionate about. I was like, I want to go to countries like I want to travel. Period. And so I was like, you know what? I'm not willing to sacrifice traveling internationally to pay off this debt. But because I loved it, I was really passionate about it. But everything else that I did not like love, that I was just spending on just casually, I didn't do it. Like I wasn't going out to eat, wasn't going to brunch, wasn't getting my nails done, wasn't doing extra stuff because my money was going towards what was really important to me, which is getting out of this debt and traveling internationally. I love these things. Like it was both really important to me, so I prioritized them. So if there's something that you like, it could be getting your hair done, it could be getting Starbucks, it could be doing whatever. You can do that, but you can't do all the things at one time and still be like financially stable because you can live for right now and spend all your money down to zero, but the chances of you getting, especially nowadays, getting to be 65, 70, really high. So it's just like
Oh, you mean dying or something?
no, getting to that age. People are living like longer now, right? So it's just like the chances of you being in your 20s and be like, oh, I'm just
that's
going to
the
spend it down
problem.
to zero because who knows if I get to 60. You really have a high chance of getting to 60. And so you got to balance like,
Black
okay.
men? Are we still?
No,
Yes,
for real.
no,
We
really.
living longer.
People
Gotta
in general,
look.
like,
we living
you
to
have a-
67.
No, that's a problem. We listen.
But I mean, even to then, like
Yeah.
67, like, okay.
And that's what I'm saying. We living longer, man. Like my daddy, like, yeah, my daddy old. But he's
not old.
But that's what I'm
personally.
saying. You look at him and think that.
He's in
But
his
he don't.
60s.
But he lit, yeah, right back to the left, bro.
Why does he
But-
say it into the mic?
Bro, it don't matter, goddamn.
I don't want to be older than 88.
No, this what I'm saying. Yeah, I got
Same.
an age limit I'm
Kelvin
ready to go
wants to die,
to.
too. He wants to die.
88, y'all, the upper room.
I'm ready to go.
Ready to get the fuck ASAP.
I'm ready
After
to
this
go.
shit.
Ain't no carrying me now,
Get the
bro. Leave me
fuck.
on the floor.
I'm ready to go.
the
But that's
fuck
what I'm saying, man. Like, we living longer nowadays. Like, whatever the age is now, add 5 to 10 on it.
And we not gonna have. I think that's.
And
We're not gonna have no social security or nothing.
I mean, we
But, okay,
it's
that's a different
it's a
conversation,
small
but-
chance we might have it.
We're not.
But what I'm saying
But even
is,
if you don't, that's even more reason to like think about your older self because who finna
but,
who about to take care of you?
and that's what I'm saying. When I'm talking about I'm talking about us starting businesses. I'm talking about us following our dreams. I'm talking about
Okay.
us investing in us, in yourself, to be like, okay, yeah, you might have 100,000 in savings, but and that's if you're doing awesome. I think if you're doing awesome, you got 100,000 in savings at 30 or something. Now, if you got that,
What 30 years you know with $100,000 in savings?
it's
I know a
niggas
lot.
out here, bro.
Y'all
I know.
do?
Hey,
I
look,
know.
Boy, I
you just
guess
heard,
I'm doing-
you just heard from all this
I guess
side.
I'm doing bad.
I know a lot.
Kevin, you know a lot to the regular
I mean, you
motherfucker.
know,
No, I don't know a
Just
lot,
went to
but
a
I'm
conference.
saying
You know
I
what?
some niggas. Yes.
What?
Nigga, trust me.
What?
I don't know.
No, no, hold on, cause people.
Not in the grand scheme,
Listen,
that ain't
no,
even
no,
that much.
no.
It ain't that much.
Listen,
Not
I
as
know,
much.
I know that's not that much money, but I'm trying to figure out. Y'all talking about not in no 401k and no shit like
No, that is your savings
Nah,
too.
fuck all that. Liquid
No,
money,
nigga,
you
that's where your money
that
post.
shit getting
First
taxed,
of
bro. I'm
all-
talking about when you
No,
take your
listen.
shit out, you got
See,
100
okay,
stacks.
now listen.
First
First of
the
all-
education part, put them
First-
on it.
Yeah, cause
First of
y'all
all,
count
there's
money that's
no
not
reason.
yours.
First of all, if you have $100,000 in cash, just like you mentioned before, that's like fiscally that doesn't make a lot of sense
bad
to have
idea.
$100,000 in cash.
It's a bad idea.
So what are y'all talking about then?
But like cash, when I say cash, I mean like in a savings account because
Yeah.
like
Making
the
money.
interest is not, it doesn't add up.
Okay, I
It
thought
needs to
that's
be
what your. I
no,
thought that was your.
it needs to
what
be
your man-
invested in the market. But the way,
Okay.
but
401k included.
401ks are invested in the market. It's just like a bucket that has encapsulates your investments in the market. So
Yeah, I
your
don't even know
401k,
yeah.
there are investments inside of it. So if you have one, you're invested in the market.
Yeah, I don't even
period.
know. I mean, I had a 401k for like what 5 years now.
See,
and I,
this
I,
is
looked
what I'm
at it.
talking
I don't
about.
even
This
know
is what
what's
I'm
in that
talking about.
motherfucker.
See,
That's why I
That's the
said
problem
I
right
could
there.
be racked up. I don't even know.
That's the issue.
And that's why I say
That's the issue.
it's a problem with your saving plan because you like, oh my bad, you saying you just send everything to your wife, but maybe she don't got access to your 401k.
No, I did. That's not what I said.
What you say?
You didn't listen to
That's
me.
what I heard.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
You didn't listen. I said she tells me what's due as far as the bills. I pay the bills. I put my money into my saving. 401k comes
Okay,
out
that ain't got
regardless.
nothing. Okay.
Yeah,
You
the
saying-
401k.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you wasn't listening.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I said because like a lot of times, like I said, because I don't like to stress about money. I'm just like, hey, I work. This is gone. This is good, but I do want to, like I said, I think we kind of got off that, but the whole credit
This
card
was
thing
good.
because with me, I've always kind of been like anti credit card because I got one at a very young age when I was in college to buy a biology book. I got one from Wells Fargo and I fucked that shit up. And I was like, I didn't want to get one again. But then now, like older, I got one and I can pay for it off. But the thing, I don't really know how to use them because literally I'll pay for everything for the month with the credit card and then pay it right off. And then I'll watch other people get higher limits. And I'm like, you got a big ass balance on your shit, but I'm paying my shit off every day. Every month, and my balance is staying the same. But I guess I'm trying to figure out how to I'm supposed to really work that shit.
Again,
First of all, he had 14.
circumstantial.
Oh.
Like it's just based on circumstances. Like I just use mine solely. Everything come off my credit card now. Like my haircut, pay
Everything.
my barber Venmo, my
You got a black barber?
yeah.
Oh, my barber old school. That nigga don't take
the cell phone
nigga
comes
cash,
out. So
nigga.
I just
You
use
need
it
to
though
switch that
for now. I just use it solely for points, and
Talk
I
to him
don't
about it.
and I don't touch.
About to go.
And I don't touch
I'm about to
my,
go. Shut up.
So I don't. When we talked about how
You said
my money,
points. What you mean?
Well, credit
You
card
gotta
points.
explain.
for
A lot of
travel.
people don't know what points mean.
See, this
Explain
that
that
shit
to
I
them.
There's
need
a
to
lot
hear.
of different.
And
Okay,
it's free money.
Oh no, well,
Free money.
Free.
now
Yeah.
there's still some interest charged on it. I might keep like a small balance, but now that I'm debt free, like a small balance though, and about 6 to 10%. All right, but the card that I use is the Southwest. It's connected to Southwest Airlines, so it's a Chase card. It's like a $15,000 credit limit. And so but I just use that for all my expenses, collect the points for everything, just collect the points. And then I usually get like, on average, like 2 round trip tickets. by the
Oh,
end of the
those
year.
type of points.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like those points. And there's so many different
Yeah, there's a
credit
lot of
cards.
different
Like, and
kinds.
you just play around with it. So I'll use it because I know I'm always taking some type with my social life, taking a few trips per year. Like, so I just make sure like those are taken care of with that. Like tomorrow, I had to go to New York, and so that whole trip was taken care of from credit card points. Just real quick.
Now, and I
before.
see that a lot, and I see people
Free
like
money,
Kelvin.
man.
He travels, and Jen does too. For someone like me, I don't travel that much, so it's like a lot of those credit
Friends,
cards
there
are
are
based
cards.
like
You get
on travel
statements.
base, and they have the ones that are like I need one that's like that gives me points for like
You can
food
you
and
can,
Stop,
shit.
look
First
around
of all,
for it. It's a
credit
lot.
cards, like how you mentioned before, like people who are like really rich or whatever don't spend their own money. A lot of people just use, I don't swipe my debit card. I only use my credit card. And that's not just because I get travel points, but it's this thing called cashback. Literally, they will give you cash. Like if I spend $100, I will give you $1.50.
Free money.
Because you used the credit card, period. And so the way that the reason that credit card companies do this is because they're banking on you not paying your bill. They're banking on you carrying a balance from month to month. When you do that, they charge you interest for like borrowing it. However, if you, like, I could swipe, $10,000 on my car. If I pay my $10,000 off, I would still get my cash back points. And so not only do I not pay you any interest, I still get my cash back. So I can still get, earning money just for spending on things that I would have already spent. So cash back.
Can you give him a real life example? Like say
Okay.
Amazon card. You spend 10,000,
Yes.
they give you 5% back. Tell them how much you get back from just spending that money, and you already paying it off. So they not getting nothing.
Right. So there's a lot of different cards, and there's cash backs different from different cards, different banks, whatever. So I just got a card that is like you get 5% back on Amazon purchase. So I spend a lot of money on Amazon. So I was like, okay, this is great for me. So if I spend, $100 on something on Amazon, I'm going to get $5 in cash back. Like $5 I could spend anywhere. Like I don't have to just spend it at Amazon. I can spend it anywhere. So not only do I get 5% cash back on Amazon or Whole Foods, you also get like 2% back on gas, restaurants, and drugstores, and then 1% cash back on anything else. So again, I'm going out, like I said, I'm paying my bills, getting gas, going to the grocery, things that I would regularly spend my money on. I get cash back on it, and I can pay money for it. So for me, like every year, my birthday's in December, so every year, like I like to save up my cash back.
We didn't ask you that.
Just saying, every year I like to save up my cash back points, and I either like cash them out and I'm like give it to myself as a birthday present, or I can get a flight, or I can, sometimes you could buy gift cards. You can buy different things with your cash back points or whatever, depending on how they're set up. And it's really just money for me buying things I would have already bought in my life. So it's like another way to have money just like for using it. Now, again, this only works if you know yourself. Because again, like you said, when you're younger, if you're tempted to like, oh, I got a $5,000, yeah, like I got a $5,000 credit limit. I'm gonna swipe it up. I'm gonna swipe up as $5,000. That's not gonna help you in the long run. Or if you're gonna carry your balance over, that's not gonna help you. But it takes, like I said, like certain type of person, knowing yourself, knowing your money mindset, knowing how you're gonna operate to say, oh, okay, I can do this. Like I said, if you're like, I have clients who are just like, you know what? That sounds nice and all, but the way that I know myself is I need to get the cash, because I know if I go out and I have a card, I'm just swiping. Like it's just whatever. That's self-awareness that you have to have in order to know, like, okay, what your limits are and like how you can manage your funds. But if you are disciplined, you can use that. That's another like tool that you can use.
I guess
another tip about them credit cards, you gotta look at them yearly fees now.
Some of them have annual fees. I don't get the ones with annual fees.
Because people love Amex, but Amex, that shit is high as fuck.
Yeah, and you'll have $100 fee, cut out all the benefits,
and they all hit around the same time, which made me think about what was going on in my life around that time. Like I noticed my expenses go up between April and June. I'm a teacher, so we turn up around April after spring break. Like the kids about to go away. Yeah, like I noticed that, and then my line trip. My line takes a line trip every year.
What Greek letter? Okay.
And
we said it was over him, man.
Oh, what's up? All day. What's up?
Gang.
And so,
okay.
We and we usually take it between April and May. So I noticed like there's like a bell curve. It just goes up. Like I have 3 cards, and when I look back how I accumulated all this debt, I was like, well, damn. I've been paying 3 type of memberships, and they all are on those airline cards. I realized.
You just have one.
I was just like in some other zone. That's how I accumulated all this debt. I have the Southwest Chase one. I think they're all about $99 a year, and they and I noticed they come around the same time, around May and June. I noticed that this year. My Chase for Southwest, my Amex for Delta, and I have like another MasterCard for like Frontier. I had like 2 round trips on Frontier, but it's like $99 a month.
Saying yes to anybody.
But with that, there's one card that I got not too long ago. It was like a Bank of America card, and this was like the sweetest that I ever seen. It was like it was no interest using it for the first 3 months. It was like only spend $1,000. I was like, I just put all the bills on there, and then you got $200 statement back. So it was like, okay, I paid $800, and just the $200 left from the statement, I just paid the rest of the bill off. Yeah. And I ain't gonna never use the
card. I don't understand that.
There are a whole community. This is a normal thing. Like there are whole people who like travel hacking.
Listen, I know that y'all.
So it's another hat where they say if you spend
far down, we don't even want to get. I don't even talk about this.
I want to talk. Y'all jumping into the.
I'm sorry. I think somebody asked.
I want to go. I was talking about just like somebody who's starting off with the credit cards, because you guys, like you said, you have the $15,000-$20,000 limit. That's not what they give you up front most of the time. Right. So how do you build up to that amount with cards?
And why would you build up to that?
So the biggest, so there's 5 different categories of how your credit score is calculated. So it's like payment history, credit mix, your
Length of credit.
Yeah, length of credit. I don't know what's the other one. I feel like I know.
Credit utilization.
Credit
something like
utilization.
that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like credit utilization. So there's different, but the biggest one is payment history. That's like the one that carries the most weight. And so let's say if you are fresh, like if you don't have any credit at all, you would have to build that up. So having no credit is actually not very advantageous to you. So like because they're gonna say, oh, you're risky. We don't know whether or not you would pay this bill back or whatever. But you can do that by getting either a starter card, a secured card, where you pay your, let's say it's $300, $500. You give that money up front, and then you have like a credit card where they're going to report to the bureaus every month to say, okay, that you pay on time. Or they might just give you like a starter limit of like a couple $100. And what you do is you want to make sure that your utilization is low. So if I give you $100, the highest amount you want to charge on the card is going to be 30%, so $30. So you never want to have a $55 balance, a $75 balance on your card that has a limit of $100
And
because that's
going to
bring it down.
Yeah,
when they report it, right? Because if you pay it off before then it's not going to necessarily hit.
matter.
It's not going to hit. So that's really important to like note that. But like that's a way to build your credit. And then another way that for people who have absolutely no credit, and it's one of those things about knowing yourself, knowing your circumstances, is like when I was in college, my dad made me an authorized user on his card. And so what that did is like it gave me the history on my report of his credit card history. So even when I was like 14, he was older than me, obviously. And so I had like
We hope.
obviously. And so he had like, a 5-year long history on that credit card, but I was an authorized user. Now you get exactly what they have. So if you have a parent and they make you an authorized user and your mom and them is not paying
Mama,
bills
take me off that shit.
and they not paying their bills on time, that's
Yeah.
going
It's
to
gonna
reflect
hit
on
your
you
credit.
too. So
I
you
ain't
got
know
to
that.
know.
I did.
You have to know who you're making, who's making you an authorized user, but it is kind of a hack if you are someone who like doesn't have any credit, where you can become an authorized user on their card and that will help them out only if you're doing good. That's like a little hack.
Yeah, that
And
like,
when I moved to Atlanta in 2010,
Yeah.
I got a secure credit card. That was my first card.
Yeah,
I put
so that's-
money on it, and
I
you
like
can
you.
add money on it to.
You can, but that's why I was just asking, how do you? Because with the secure card, because I feel like this is. I want to talk to like the regular people that are calling. They're kind of like, they're listening. They're kind of trying to start that credit journey, because a lot of times we're scared of credit cards because like either you have too many or you like I ain't fucking with it. So like when you're doing the secure card, which I think anyone can get, right? Because it's your own
They
money.
are for people who
and you
don't
wanna
have
go
credit
with your
or have
bank
bad
that you
credit.
bank with.
Yeah, you could pretty much get them with anybody. So how do you go from having a secured card to a non-secured card?
I don't know how to answer directly. So I
But I
haven't
think
done a lot of
Kelvin,
research on
you
it.
said you did, right? So how did you do that? If you don't mind me, it's
You
just
just do the secured card until you feel like you done it for long enough. Like I said, based on what the criteria they said for your credit score, right? And then you can eventually apply for a regular credit card. That's all it is, building your credit score so you can get a better rate on your regular credit card.
So
you
you
get a
just
higher
ask,
amount.
you just ask them, hey, I've been paying this for 6 months to a year on time. I
You don't
want a
ask
real
nobody.
card.
You just
Yes.
apply.
Oh,
You just
So
apply.
no, but that too. So like, okay, you can get a card. Let's say you get a card, start a card. You do real good for 6 months. You literally can call the credit agency and say, "Hey, can you increase my credit limit?" And they'll run it again and say, "Okay." I do this like once a year. Like once a year, I call and I think I'm at like 1% utilization, but every year I increase my credit limit. And what that is doing is like decreasing my utilization ratio. And so like if I have $100,000 credit available to me and I don't use any of it or very little of it, then that makes my credit score go up.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like builds over time. So if you have a secure card, like you said, pay for 6 months, pay for a year, and call the credit card and be like, "Hey, will you increase my limit?" And usually they will. Now you can't increase your spending to match this limit because that's not going to help you because of the utilization. So you go from $100 and let's say you only spend $30 on your card because you want to do 30% or less utilization, and they increase your limit to $500. That don't mean go out here and spend $400 because you have a higher limit. Like you still want to keep your utilization lower, under 30%, and that's going to build your credit history over time because credit is like built off of history. Like literally, it's like a record of the last 7 years. So typically it's a snapshot. Things past 7 years, generally speaking, will fall off. So if you're just,
except
out
for
of
student
college.
loans.
Nah, that's not a part of that.
That's not, that's a little different because student loans, if you pay them off and they're closed, they'll be on your report, but they're not reporting every month anymore. They're on there, but there's not going to be reporting to the bureaus anymore to it. But yeah, student loans, you can't like bankrupt off student loans or whatever. But
They're working on it though.
Has to be a severe.
They should
Severe
include it.
case.
Nah, I'm saying they
Yeah.
don't now, but they working on including it in bankruptcy. I
For
seen
some
them-
reason, I would
Maybe.
just be pissed.
You
Nah.
gonna be
Pay
away.
them
Nah.
You be like, I gotta pay all
I'm
this.
waiting. I'm waiting.
I don't know. I'm not.
I'm waiting, Kelvin.
I
No,
just- I
I would
can't
bring my
imagine
life
them doing
down
that.
to go to bankruptcy
Wow.
to get them shits gone, and then
That's
because especially
wild.
think about it, you said 7 days to get a new job. Boom, you right back. You right back. You live right
the-
by
Right on
you
up
right
and
back.
get it right back.
Money, I guess, is power, but like in terms of credit, though, bankruptcy will just be on for
Right.
7
That
years.
ain't gonna
It's not
go.
good for
What
credit.
the bankruptcy do to you?
Unless you got
Okay.
some extra money, but
Don't these rich
Got the
people
money.
be filing for bankruptcy?
With
Not to
their
get off.
businesses.
That's business. That's different.
Like, again,
It
you gotta
rich.
know
I
how
don't
things
how to
work.
talk for them yet.
You really gotta know
I'm
how
half
things
rich, bro.
we ain't there
I
yet.
ain't there. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta know how stuff works.
So can y'all talk about I want y'all to talk about the amount of debt y'all actually paid off. You know what I'm saying?
Come
'Cause
on now, 'cause
wanna-
it's a testimony right here.
Yeah, I wanna-
All right,
I
we'll
wanna
get
get
into
the
it.
testimony.
Anyone know
Okay,
his
I'm gonna
shit.
go first
No,
because
no.
MJ need to go last.
Okay.
First of all.
Come on, come on with it.
So I paid off like mine was small. It was like 25,000. Like it was
I was
just
about to say,
very
that's
much.
small,
bro.
That is
small.
small to me. That's small to me. So I don't know. So my story was like more so.
Yeah, tell us the time frame. I think that's
It was
people
18
are-
months.
That's a lot.
The
18
fuck?
exactly. That's a lot of
How?
fucking shit.
I don't know. I don't know. So it was 18 months. So it was like I
No, no,
graduated.
talk us through that
okay,
shit.
all right, we can. So I
about, I
graduated
don't know.
college. I graduated college in 2014. So that's when I got my MBA. I graduated from then, and that's when I had. So I had student loans. I didn't have all 4 years of student loans. I actually had scholarships for most of it, but for some of my grad year, I had to get some student loans, and then I had to buy a car. So I moved to DC. That's where I lived after school, and I had to my car. I had like a 96 Honda for my whole from 16 to like 23, and it stopped driving, it stopped moving, and so I had to.
That shit died.
I had to get a new car, so I had to get it stopped. So I had to get a new car, and then I was 6 months out from my grace period, so I was paying on my debt, and this is when I first started my job. And my mama was just like, "Oh, you got a job? Great. Get off my health insurance. Get off my phone bill. Get off my." Like, this is all you.
Damn,
Like,
mama.
she was like, "You got to go. Like, you
Mama
got a little
teaching her.
check. You got to get up off it." I was paying for my toiletries, my deodorant, lotion, and everything since I was 14. So you know she was done with paying my health care. She's like, "You got to get the fuck." So I was like, I had to pay. I was at one time I had to pay all these bills at once, and it was really stressful because I had like rent, car note, student loan bills.
DC?
debt.
It's
In DC, I had to
expensive,
do
too.
all these things. But when I talk about kind of being intentional and thinking about being purposeful about like what you want and what's really, really important to you. So during this time period, again, so I had this mentality, like I was really cheap, like I was just, all this running through my veins from my daddy. And I was like, oh my God, like I'm paying this money every month. And it feels different when you paying for like a student loan or a car, cause like I'm not getting nothing. Like I'm paying this, what did I get? Don't see nothing. Like this is bothering me that I have this bill that I'm just like, this is not a thing for me. And so I was like, I hate that. I don't want to do this. I don't want to have debt. So I was very intentional when I moved out, even though I lived in DC. I still wanted to travel internationally. I did not stop on that, but I had to get really, meticulous about where I was spending my money. So I had 3 roommates when I was in DC. I had like a townhouse. I had 3 roommates.
You was back in college.
I mean, I was just fresh out of college. So like I said,
She was
I had
making it
that.
happen.
She went
I
right
had
back.
that.
I ain't mad at you.
Look, I commuted over an hour to work each way to go to work or whatever because I was like, I didn't want to live in the city of DC because the rent was too high for that. Again, like I said, I wasn't doing like all my friends was going out and going to brunches and getting their nails done and buying all this other stuff. I was like, okay, I'm going to be intentional about not spending money on that. I was paying more money on my debt than I was for my rent and my bills.
How much you putting on?
So I was like, it was like $850 a month I was paying on my debt because I was like, I want this to go. Like I wanted to leave. My rent when I lived in DC was $588 because again I split it 4 ways, and my rent was the highest because I had I had a bathroom because I didn't want to share a bathroom with nobody else. So I had my own bathroom and I had that, and then I would get my Metro pass, so I would Metro into work each day or whatever else. And so DC is a high cost of living, but I live like on the outskirts in Maryland. So again, like I was
You stayed in Virginia.
No, I stayed in Maryland. I stayed in Largo,
It's
Maryland.
another state.
It's another state. Yeah, I did that. Yeah, and I did that for 18 months. And so I had a lot of friends who graduated, was like, ooh, girl, I don't want to have a roommate, or you live real far out. I don't want to do that, whatever else. But I did it for 18 months. And now once my debt was paid off, that $850 that I was paying for, my debt, whatever else, now I can invest it. Now I can save it. Now I can do whatever. And it was 18 months out of the grand scheme of my life. I made a sacrifice for that short amount of time. And now I'm debt free. And I can, have more more financial freedom. But when I talk about, you know, your mindset and knowing your non-negotiables, so for some people, maybe that's not feasible. Maybe for some people, it's like, you know what? It's a hard no for me to have roommates or whatever. I don't want to have a commute over 20 minutes. It's not what I'm willing to do. That's cool. You know what I'm saying? Granted, we look at how much you have coming in, going out. Let's say how much debt you want to pay. If we do that and you say that you don't want to change anything and you still like aren't where you want to be, you're telling me that you're okay with it. Like, that's not that high of a priority for you. Wherever else your money is going is a higher priority. Like, that's just what it is, like mindset mentality. So that's like, I understood that early on, like how I wanted to be intentional about where I was spending my money and sacrifice or have, you know, be more flexible about my non-negotiables early on to get debt free. And now, like, I'm not in a situation where I have to have all these roommates. I mean, I live with my sister, but it's like, I don't have to do these things anymore. I could very well live by myself or whatever if I wanted to. And, you know, going on for the rest of my life, I don't have to. I did it for 18 months and now I'm debt free. So like, it was a sacrifice that I made, got a little bit uncomfortable, made it happen. Whereas someone who maybe didn't want to do these things might be paying on their debt for the next 7-8 years. I'm like, well, that's cool for you, but I don't want to do that.
Right.
It's like, I was just intentional.
Man.
Bye.
So basically, when we moved up here, we all should just been roommates again.
You could have, you know what I'm
And we
saying?
coulda
It's Atlanta.
saved
Atlanta
some
was
fucking
cheap,
money.
especially
It was
back in the
cheap
day
then,
when y'all
2010.
graduated.
We worked.
Right.
We was hanging out all the fucking time.
We kinda
anyway.
was roommates.
Nigga was sleeping at my house anyway.
Y'all could have just saved
But
some
see,
money.
he didn't want to come to Gwinnett yet, and I was like,
Hell
I ain't
no.
going to Southside.
Okay, you're in Gwinnett now.
I ain't had no money.
No,
I was
he
paying
was.
$550.
He was on the south. He was on the south side.
I was in a
Atlanta.
little bit more than you and living in D.C.
Man, that's crazy.
He was standing on the south side.
I was in Jonesboro, $550 a month.
Yeah.
Shit, let's go. I had a good apartment.
Yeah.
Nigga, fuck you. It's your
Where y'all
that
moved
shit
from?
you had.
I missed the story.
Man, that nigga had some bullshit.
Where'd y'all come from? Where'd y'all move from?
I'm from South Georgia, so shit.
Well, yeah.
But no, we all
college.
came from Fort Valley. Though.
Yeah, in
Fort
college.
Valley.
yeah.
What's up?
You know Fort Valley?
I know where it is. I don't really know about it.
It's Middle Georgia, man. Middle Georgia, right
Not
there.
too far from Macon. No, but your story, like I said, that's one of them unrealistic things that like people
No,
look at.
see,
It is
No,
not
no,
realistic.
let me
Not
finish.
unrealistic.
I'm saying like
Not popular, maybe.
it's not. I guess that was the
It's
wrong term.
unpopular.
Unpopular, I
It
guess.
is.
That's like. But you also, like I said, you didn't
What
have
else?
any major responsibilities. You just have to worry about yourself, right?
I didn't have a family. Like I said, I was in that situation. And so, I know everybody's situation is different, but I'm saying is that
The sacrifice.
it's sacrifice.
That definitely is,
something got
and
to
you
go.
good, and
Something has to go.
because a lot of people are doing what you did, but they're doing it like at 35, 40.
Okay, and that's cool.
But
Like,
a lot of us come out without. It's just us.
Yeah.
I mean, we ain't got no.
That's
a lot
why I
of us
say
don't have those.
You
other
could
things.
a lot
We
of
just don't
people
do that
a lot
shit.
of people could have did it, but most people when they got out of school, I know with me when I got out of college, it was still turn up. Like it was you wasting
Yeah.
a lot of money
listen,
going
now,
out and
be
stuff like
clear,
that.
I still was going. You know what I'm saying? Like I still would go out. I wasn't just in the house just watching
You
TV
wasn't doing
doing
shit.
nothing.
You wasn't
No,
doing.
I
You
was
wasn't doing shit.
I was still going out. I just wasn't
going out
spending
getting free drinks.
that part too, though. You know, whatever.
like
But I'm
some
saying I
golden
wasn't going out spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Like I was
That
still
was
being
us.
intentional about where I would spend. Like I said, maybe I get a bottle, or okay, I might buy one drink.
A bottle
or
in the
whatever.
club?
No, absolutely not.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
I've never bought a bottle in the club in my life.
We know, young lady.
That's fine. I ain't mad.
Man.
No, but that's a good that's good, and that's something that you'll definitely instill in your kids as well, which I think is good because I know when I look back, like even now, like when I'm saving, I'm thinking like for my family, like I'm like, hey, I want to make sure I got bread and make sure that they know, hey, you got to save this too, because a lot of times, like I said, with our parents, they were telling us, hey, save this, you got to do this, but they wasn't doing it. So it's like when you really do it and it's like, hey, this is what I did. This is how your credit score could look. This is what you can have in the bank. Like, so it's inspirational.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I definitely, and we all have the opportunity to do that because think at all I think we were talking about that one time before, like the bullshit that we did with the refund checks, bruh. They were just giving us $2,000 and $3,000 a month, and we were at smaller
They did
schools.
that in Alabama too.
Some
man.
of y'all at them big. Some people that went to like bigger schools that was getting like $10,000 refund
Honey.
checks.
Hampton.
Sometimes that
Hampton.
shit. Tough.
Hampton.
And it's like you could have did so much
But
with that if you would have saved a
But
portion
you know
of
that's
it, bro.
crazy that.
Just save 100 of that.
But I'm
each time they
saying
give
we
it to
got
you.
we got 3 HBCUs in here, right?
That's right.
4. Hampton's a HBCU. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Okay, y'all went to the same one. Ooh,
Damn, damn.
Woo!
Make us look a little better.
Shout out to Fort Valley State for that
Wait.
education.
Fort Valley State. What's your
For that education.
What division? What
Division
what?
2.
I'm in a conference.
SAICC.
SIC. You
What
I don't know.
React, yeah.
Okay, we got the swag. So we got all three, man.
That's what I'm like.
Edit
Look,
that out, guys.
what I'm saying is,
Yikes.
what I'm
That's that
saying
Fort
is,
Valley education right
chill out, bro.
Fuck you.
What I'm saying is, we got 3 different schools, different divisions, all that, but same experience with motherfuckers willing to just give you, hey, take this money.
Yo, the problem is, for me, like, that money was pretty much 80% legit. Like, actually, most of my college was paid for, believe it or not. So how do I accumulate 97,000?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, so first of all,
No, it's his testimony
let's go
time.
back. Let's get into the testimony
Come on,
of
let's
MJ
go.
Bridges.
I
Young
swear I heard
Married.
Testimony.
We ain't got, y'all ain't asked him how much money he paid off. Y'all ain't asked
Come on,
him.
let's
Y'all
go.
ain't got into that
And
yet.
we
Y'all talking
want
about
we
me.
saving it.
We're ready.
You say the
For
you
the
save
story.
it. Come on
We're
now.
ready for the story.
Come on.
Approximately 97,000.
Woo!
Yeah.
So-
Damn.
97,000. Y'all ain't hear him.
You
Say it
talking
again.
about 25?
Approximately $97,000.
$97,000.
That's crazy.
It was
In debt, paid off.
crazy, you know.
How
'cause
long did it take you, friend?
5.5 years.
5.5 years. Woo!
So like, it's really crazy because you talked about, and I like how Jen put it, because you helped me teach people too. So thank you, helped me learn what I was doing. But like emotions, a lot of the spending that I was doing was so emotion based.
Right.
It was so, I was going through so many personal struggles in my life. So I even think about college. Like I remember specifically this lady when I left, because you have to do the when you're
exit,
singing
the exit shit.
thing.
Yep.
She went like this to me. Dang. She said, "You're blessed. You're only leaving with $3,000." It was like $3,300 or something like that. of
Wait,
debt.
this when you left undergrad?
Undergrad, Alabama State.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
97
So this
was not
so
student loans.
this is
child.
student loans, 3,000, and then I had like maybe though like 8,000 in credit cards already. So
Okay.
I was starting with credit cards since freshman
So
year.
that's
of
about
college.
11, 12,000.
Okay, so the other about 80,000 plus
What?
was started.
What we doing?
18,000.
I'm confused now.
Y'all didn't hear him when he said these are not student loans now.
I thought it was
Okay.
a
These ain't
straightforward
student loans.
story.
This
Out of the 80,
is
like another
credit card debt.
another 25 came from master's program, and then the rest was like credit card
Come
and then
on.
a car, like about 12,000 on the car, but the other
On
like
a
50
on a card.
on a car loan. My
So-
I got
so we
finally
got-
got my first car.
The cars came back again
What
in
I
your
was
life.
doing Indianapolis.
card.
Yep. So from undergrad I left with about 8,000 credit card, 3,000 student loan. Went to Indianapolis, Indiana. I ended up getting, now mind you, listen to this.
Mm?
I had a fellowship, so it was paid for, but I was told to get the student loans. Well, I needed student loans to live, so I got student loans to live in my apartment for
But
that
to be
year and a half.
comfortable or something?
Well, because with the fellowship really just paid, it was a private school. I wish it was the
Okay.
public one. It was the private one, so the tuition was a little more, because it was the Woodrow Wilson Indiana Teaching Fellowship.
Okay.
And I took about $25,000 out for a year and a half to live in my apartment, to pay for all my expenses.
Okay.
Because it was intense. We finished
just
a
focused
whole
on
2-year
school.
program in a year.
Right.
Yeah, we did 2 years in a year. It was very intense.
Right.
So that's how I accumulated more student loans. And then the
Right.
rest was just swiping. I went to both inaugurations. It was just, I didn't know how to sacrifice.
Yeah.
I kept going back to
Everything. I just swiped.
everything. Like, I mean, everything. Family, everything just got put on my track. So I would use
Right.
cards. I would get the expensive camera equipment.
Yeah.
Because I started doing this thing called MJ's Monday Motivation.
You say
And
you're doing
then
motivation.
I started to like try to take care really of my family. Try to help out with my little brother. He was going through a lot of turmoil and tragedies and stuff like that.
You
so
taking other responsibilities with your
too
debt.
much that I couldn't hold.
People do that though.
Right, and
People do that.
Right,
For
rightfully
sure.
so. And so, along with that, I was going through my personal journeys with a lot of self-esteem issues,
Right.
a lot of identity issues, and those emotions carried me to Macy's or
Riches.
Wait, riches.
Okay,
There it is.
yeah.
What's it called?
Come back full circle.
Riches.
Yeah,
Take you to
that
riches.
was down the street, and I remember like shopping to feel good. I remember that. Like, and so all of that combined over like 4 years, even when I stayed there 3 years. I moved to Atlanta July 2013. So I moved to Atlanta. I didn't work like the first 3 months living on a credit card. And then again, trying to force a brand, like trying to be out in front. Like and that was a part of my personality, like trying to be out in front, trying to appear successful, trying to appear a certain way. And that cost a lot of money. And so that cost over like $70,000 over time. And so I was at a conference called the Merge Summit in LA, and I remember this lady saying something before my whole ordeal with the car on the side of the road was like, you know, before everyone jump out to these brands, you need to ask yourself, like, you know, where you at with your personal life and stuff. And that really hit me. I thought about it at least. I didn't pursue what she was talking about, but I at least thought about it. So when that happened with my car, that's when I had like I need to get this together. Yeah. So from there, the first thing was acknowledging my debt, and I really did sit down and I talked to my partner. And I was like, yo, I need to change this. I need to figure out, like, why am I spending like this? Like, what am I doing myself? I need to cut everything off. So I just stopped everything that I was doing. And I was like, I need more jobs. So I was working at a school. I need cake.
That was his solution. I needed more money.
I was working 9 to 5 at MLK and at Freddie DeKalb County Schools. They just started that. And we're going to talk about that. Talk about how I got fucked. And so I was working at MLK then, and that was my first school that I started teaching at. And that was my third year teaching because I did 2 years in Indianapolis. So it was my third year teaching here when I started here. And I ended up getting like 3 other jobs literally within 6 weeks. I had 2 tutoring jobs, and then I worked at a club, Sweet Lounge. The now Sweet Lounge, yeah. It's crazy seeing it. Yeah, well, it's crazy because now I was one of the first, within the first 6 months of when Sweet Lounge, it renamed it and it opened. And so to see it now is like crazy. But I love Sweet Lounge. I was there for...
What was it before?
Lucky Lounge. It's on Lucky Street.
Oh, I remember when we first came into Atlanta, it was called Lucky.
And I like, for old people.
I had never been there before. No, it used to be lit on Sundays, I think.
I thought it was for old people.
Nah, it used to be lit on Sundays, but they would cost, so we didn't go.
So I was there. And so I worked every weekend for 15 months straight. Except one.
Damn.
During 2014 up to like the beginning of 2014 up to the end of like summer 2015, I worked at that club. My schedule was like this, y'all. Monday through Friday, I worked my 9 to 5 at the school. I would literally leave. Like the kids did not see me. I kind of did them wrong in a way. They did not see me after school. Like I was gone. I went to my tutoring job way on the west side. So I would drive from I-20 east up to I-20 west. What's that? Holmes? I forget, somewhere, something. HM Home. I would get off on there, and it was like a charter school I would tutor at over there on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And sometimes I would leave that charter school about 6:30, and I would go to Sweet. And I would do jazz night from like 7 to 10.
Okay.
So I wouldn't get home till like 11. I work all day. And then on Sweet Fridays wasn't popping yet, but I would go into Fridays like between like 8 and 12. It wasn't popping yet.
Yeah.
Saturday was the day, the dinner and show, the Quinn and the Jukebox. What's up, Quinn? My favorite band here. And I would go to Sweet from 7 p.m. No, Saturday morning I would tutor for this company called Visions Tutoring. And I tutored like at South Atlanta High School from like 9 a.m. to 12.
Right.
And then I would take a nap. And then I wake up about 6 and go to Sweet from 7 to like 4 in the morning. And I would work as a busser. So I wasn't even a server. I was just getting tips. Yeah. And we got like an hourly wage or whatever. But that was my fun job. I went in there like, happy Saturday.
Yeah, it was cool.
Everybody was looking at me like nigga, what? But I was just so excited because I love to party. I used to DJ. So, you know, that's my element. So I had a good time there. And I did that for 15 months straight, man. And that was a big sacrifice within a year. I paid off like $20,000 within that first year.
Damn.
Just to eliminate. And then
Hustle is crazy.
from
Right.
there,
Even
like,
back to the other hustle. child.
and so
You're just
like,
hustling.
so like from there though, I continued to tutoring. I finally dropped Sweet on that Saturday. I did that for about 2 years with the tutoring. My third year, I got a little relaxed, and I feel like I even accumulated a little debt during the year a little bit. I didn't eliminate the 20. I eliminated probably about a good 13.
Okay.
Because I got too relaxed because I thought I was going to get teacher loan forgiveness.
Oh,
he's a
So yeah, so as a teacher, if you teach special ed, biology, any science special ed or math secondary, so that's 7th through 12th grade, the federal government,
yeah.
this program called teacher loan forgiveness. This not even public service loan forgiveness, it's teacher loan forgiveness. Whole different.
Okay.
They two different things. They're like cousins, but they two different things.
All right.
Like the teacher loan forgiveness program will eliminate $17,500.
Okay.
Hence, that's the reason or
That's what
why
you
I was
thought.
talked into in Indianapolis of getting this anyways.
Okay.
The loans that I got. So I'm like, yeah, my 5th year's approaching with about a year from now. Like they're going to eliminate 17.5. So I remember eliminating my debt down to about 20,000, my student loan debt. I was like, yeah, they're going to eliminate
That's
this.
from you personally.
Yep.
Right.
Because it was only, remember, at about 25 then.
Mm.
So I was like excited about it, and I didn't get it because they said
Child.
since I started working
Scam.
October 25th of 2013, so I didn't work them first couple months I moved here. Instead of the beginning of the school year, which was August like 10th, the
Right,
school year
right.
start here.
Beginning.
So those 8 weeks, that disqualified me from teacher loan forgiveness
In your
because
face.
consecutively because it wasn't consecutive. It broke the 5-year consecutive
Them
mark.
little 8 week.
Oh shit!
Hell no.
It was
Imagine
like-
losing that on
I'd be-
17.5.
Oh shit! Like you see, I was
I'll be finding me a lawyer. I'll be finding me a lawyer right
I was
then.
just like, and you know
You
what?
gonna
As I
box.
think
And
about it,
you
I feel like I
teaching,
should have.
bruh. That's some
yeah,
fuck shit.
I would have got me a lawyer
And so
ASAP.
it was like,
the next call would have been a
ASAP after
lawyer.
this
bro,
shit.
for like 6
Who want
months,
this money?
I went at it with them, still didn't get it. Then it was
ASAP
a
after
guy
this
who was
shit.
running with. I ran with the movers and patients. It was a guy who was running. He was a lawyer. He's like, no, you need to fight that. This you need to
Hell
call
yeah.
again. Like I didn't think deeply though. Like, I still even feel like if I went more and more, I could have got it.
Who
but
want this money?
so
we about
I
to
was
sue.
like, so I was like, I
Shit.
went back and I then talked to a few other people, and they were like, this on the phone. Yeah, because I started doing research. I said, well, if you teach in Georgia, if you teach 63% of the year, it's considered a year.
Yeah.
So I was like showing that data based off the Department of Education, and they were like, oh yeah, that's considered a year. I'm like, okay, so I can get it. So
Help me
it
understand.
went to the second round now. This is a year later though. I went back, like you
Yeah.
said. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get it. Like, ain't gotta pay it off. La 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 la. I didn't get it. The second last office named compliance said no. We make the final decision, and that voided that 8-week void. This. So it
This
was
is still just you fighting it.
me fighting it,
Ain't,
and
ain't no external
and
people
I
fighting.
didn't get an external person.
Bro, you need that lawyer, boy.
Lawyer.
Thank
you
you
got a
now.
little more.
He's like, that's not helpful now,
Yeah,
sir.
so,
I mean, shit. You might
so
still be able to go get
then
that.
at the
back
time,
pay.
Yeah, bad pay.
like I was like
Child support.
only like roughly like then like about 20,000 still in car and like credit
Man.
combined, and so I had all of that still. So it was, of course, that was a hard pill to swallow. That
Hell
was like
yeah.
devastating as fuck.
Cause that could have paid you down. You would have had 3,000 left.
Bruh, like it was ridiculous. So
Thanks, Kelvin.
I keep the math in my head.
I took I just called it an L, and I was like, I'm just gonna pay it off. And so again, this about near between like my 3rd and 4th year of eliminating that. And at that time though, I started talking about my journey on
debt.
social media.
Oh,
Young and
okay.
And so again, I got back into this like this idea of like I'm doing something. Like it's something like it's more self-esteem thing
Yeah,
that I was struggling
motivational
with. Yeah.
thing, you know.
And so like but then like I ended up getting like a speaking gig. And I was like, oh, they pay me. Wow,
Oh,
whatever.
right.
Like and so I was like trying to kind of pursue that before I was even done. But at the time,
Yeah.
I was already out like at $55,000, $60,000 of debt I paid off. So the story was already inspirational to people, and I was like, "We ain't done yet." Like, I was like, "I'm not done," but I still was like, "Okay, let me see what this is." And people started pulling me to the side. I got an idea for my frat brother to create Young and Debt Free or whatever. He's in the other side of finance. He's like about a millionaire, but you know what I'm saying, like at like 37, yeah. So like he was like, "No, bro, you need to do this, whatever this is."
Right.
And so. But that then, though, I started sliding back with a little spending. I wasn't as intentional. And then I started meeting a lot of people here. So I started backsliding a little bit on.
You said backslide.
Yeah, I started backsliding on kicking it.
Too many folk.
I started kicking it. Like, kicking, it was more kicking
the
in
club
Atlanta.
and
Yeah.
shit.
So it wasn't then till after my 30th birthday, which was last summer, where I was like, okay, I'm still 30,000 here. Like, something's got to change.
Yeah.
Like, and after my 30th birthday, I was so exhausted. My partner and I, we just moved into an apartment in Midtown, and I was like, I'm exhausted. I'm tired of people. I'm like, cause I have a lot of different social circles.
That's
And
fair.
so like,
That's
fair.
I was like,
Niggas,
yeah, I was like,
get the fuck
I need to back
ASAP.
away. And I was running one day, and I saw this guy on his truck throwing bird scooters in the truck. And I was like, yo, what is he doing? Like, and so I don't know what dawned on me to go look it up. So I went to look it up, and I was on YouTube, and I saw people making like $2,500 a month charging scooters. Most of them were in Southern California though. So okay, cool. They started in Southern California. It's a Southern California thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. And so I signed up for both Bird and Lime at the time. This is like November 1st. My scooterversary is approaching. And so like
that's last year?
Yes.
yeah, so
Okay.
so then like I was like, okay, about November, about a week later, Lime hit me back up, November 8th to be exact. And they was like, yo, like, you're a charger or whatever. Well, no, they hit me probably earlier because earlier like than that, because they sent the chargers November 8th and I was ready.
Right.
And so I had my car ready. I have a Chrysler Sebring. It's a
Not even
sedan,
a
4-door
truck.
car. And I put my seats down, and I was watching people, and I go running. Like, I was like, oh, like people doing it in the cars too. And so,
You know what these are, right? Them
The little things you see downtown.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And so, like, I was, and because I live right there where they like outside my door, I was
on
like, oh,
Spring
cool,
Street, right?
like, yeah. And so I was like, oh, cool. So I tried it, and at first day I made like $55. I picked up like 11 limes or whatever, and fucked up my finger for a little bit, but it was really cool, whatever. And I was like, oh, cool. And at the time, I remember doing it, I was just trying to car maintenance. Something happened with my car then, and so I was like, let me pay this off. But the goal was just to pay off my monthly expenses at the time. And then Bird finally hit me back 3 weeks later, December 4th.
Okay, you was just online.
Yeah, like they hit me back exactly December 4th. I remember it's Founders Day, and I was out with some frat brothers, and I was like, Bird approved me,
Right.
and you can use the same charges for Bird.
Oh,
and
damn.
I remember watching Bird people because Lime will open up at 9:00, and you know at 9:00 you will kind of see people running, and it's like it was a game. And so, but at Bird people, they was cool as hell. They was like.
Yeah.
They was like, oh, it's 9:00. They get next to like 15 birds and they go, choo, 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 choo. I said, what the hell? Like, you know, versus
was
Lime.
So wait. What are they doing? I don't understand what you saying.
Bird, at the time, Bird will open up literally 90% of their fleet. Mind you, at the time, it was probably like 800 Bird scooters. This is December 2018 in Atlanta.
Right.
So they will open up like 675 of these babies. Like, they would just open
Oh,
them
at the
up.
same time.
Yes.
Yep.
And they didn't even have to be charged. Like, they was like fully charged. They was like at 96%. I don't know what method they were using with their money,
Nothing.
but they were just like, people
no
was
plan.
literally like, it started becoming like a gang thing. Now people were like, no, this is my territory. This is my corner. This is my corner.
Wow.
And people were scanning, but you would scan like 20 birds, you make $100 in 5 minutes. Like, literally.
Wow.
So when I got with Bird, you know, immediately I threw Lime to the side because Lime, of course, had it where it's more logical. They only opened up the limes that were 50% or below
Right.
that needed to be charged. Bird,
They ain't give a fuck.
yeah,
96.
you was
Okay.
just like, so you didn't even have to put them on chargers. You can just
Right.
keep them in your garage
Yeah,
or
'cause
whatever
they
and
already
just bring them back
charged.
out.
Damn.
So I started with Bird. I got with Bird, and then I just really became very intentional.
Yes,
And
every day.
became
every
like
day.
very
You did this every
crazy.
day.
So how much you was making with this bird?
How
on
much have you
average-
made with your scooter side
well,
hustle?
it's
MJ?
been now almost 10 months to date, actually.
Okay,
and
not
I'm,
even a
I'm
year.
about at $27,000 from
But you
just
stay
side
in
hustle.
Midtown, so you're right by them.
I'm right there, so I
Yes.
took advantage of opportunity.
Yeah,
You made
yeah.
I
20,000.
That's
sacrificed.
crazy.
27,000.
10 months.
Yeah,
10 months.
I
charging fucking
sacrificed
scooters,
charging
my
a
nigga.
scooter, and that's
Sound
what
like hard work.
now it's
It is.
Nigga, shit.
Now, this is not subtracting away from maybe power and gas and stuff, but even subtracting away from that, even when you throw maybe taxes, because it is 1099, I probably 21,000.
It's still a lot.
It's still,
Yeah,
and
still
so
a lot.
It's a
um,
lot.
I'll probably bank out at about 30,000 come my school anniversary, November 8th. And so that's what I'm really trying to shoot for. And then
Get it.
but now that sacrifice, we talked about sacrificing a lot. This
Yeah.
entire journey
You
is
are
sacrifice.
The theme of this is that you a hustler. You the king of the hustler. Like
And so-
you
But
a
you
hustler.
been had that since
And
you
so,
was a
hustling.
when you
kid.
remember, I hustled since high school.
Yeah.
Like
Hustling.
high
Three
school,
jobs.
3 jobs.
3 cars.
I was working as a
3 jobs, 3 cars.
so like hustling for that and finishing off everything.
Yeah.
And then now I'm in this predicament where I'm just saving for taxes because I know I'm gonna get hit with a tax, a
Yeah,
big
being
tax
ready
bill.
for that.
Yeah, so being ready for that, and then the next step, my mindset. As I develop my mindset, though, I know that I still have some books to read. I never read Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like I just ordered
Okay.
it.
It's
Is
okay.
that anything
No,
okay?
this is perfectly fine.
Okay. But you think the books? I haven't told.
No, I mean this is great.
I just want to see what you think about it.
I
But
think
anyway,
it's great.
so then
These guys.
I'm developing like a mindset. My whole goal, as I talked about a little earlier, is to
Right.
not touch my
9
9 to 5,
Yeah.
and we just got a raise with
Another one?
Governor Kemp. Well, I got like a $13,000 raise in like a year. It was really weird.
Good.
And I'm a teacher, so that's really good.
Yeah,
Yeah, like
yeah.
it
Oh,
was
you
with.
still teaching?
Yeah.
still a teacher?
You go back and fight
whole time.
You can still go back and fight that shit, can't you?
Well, that's what I'm
I
saying. He
paid
still
off
need to get
already.
Go get that
Nah,
motherfucking
they can
money.
give you that shit back.
Bro, he
I
can
was
get-
thinking that, bro.
He can still
Hey.
get that,
I was
man.
thinking that for a little bit.
Yes, you
I paid it
can.
off. I wonder if they like.
Man,
Hey.
Yeah,
yes,
sure.
man.
Go ahead, find you a
Hey,
lawyer. My
fuck.
friend, actually, my
It
friend is a lawyer.
wouldn't cost you
Jasmine,
get
I'm
that
finna get
back.
Jasmine up.
Charge you up a couple scooters for a month.
You might have
Pay
to,
that lawyer.
Yeah, you might have to vote for Trump too.
That's true.
I was thinking that though.
And I would definitely fight that shit, bro.
Okay, thank God.
I
Thank
feel
God.
like you can.
I was thinking that.
Definitely.
Yeah,
have a lawyer.
yeah.
Okay.
Back
Because
pay.
you never had that
Hey, if you
professional
can get
backing.
back child support, I know you can get back student loan
Hell
pay.
yeah.
Somebody tell me.
Yeah.
Nigga,
Because
give
he
me my
been doing it
bread.
consecutively, man.
Yeah.
You still a teacher now.
Yes.
Yeah, so yeah.
And so we got like a big raise. So now I'm like, oh, okay, let me try to save up. You talked about like saving. My whole ideal is not to touch my, like I said, I want to just try to save. Like the goal was like 4,000 to 5,000 a month. Like if I can get to that or whatever. Well, no, 4,000. Like my checks after like everything come out, I feel like I should be able to save 4,000 a month.
Right.
But the whole purpose of that is to invest, as she said. It's not just going to keep this money just sitting there.
Yep.
It's
That's
to
the way.
invest. So right now, my monthly expenses are taken up. My monthly expenses, I added them up today. They're now about $850. I paid my car insurance. I have a 2008 car. I only pay
liability.
liabilities $55. I pay my mom car insurance. It's $100, and then I pay like my haircut, power. We stream cable. It's really cheap, and it's about $850 with gas and grocery. So then I was like, but my rent. I rent my half is $1,000. All right, I live in Midtown. The rent is crazy, and I don't want to live anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so
Your
now the
non-negotiable
goal
right
is
there.
how to get that $1,000 gone. And my ideal, as we talked about earlier, is to get
Rent.
a rental property. And so that's what I hope to get by the spring. And so I don't have to touch that. Then I won't have to touch my other money, not to
Yeah.
invest and things like that.
Yeah. You need to
So,
do the rent
but the whole
hacking.
purpose, like
House
hustling,
hacking.
Yeah.
side-
No, rent hack.
side hustling, And just being intentional. Like I tell people, like I still have fun. Trust me, through these 5.5 years,
We gotta see, man. Hey, man.
I believe we having fun. Jen, I don't know if Jen having fun.
We ain't never seen you in the club, bro. We gotta see you in the club.
I haven't really been out here in Atlanta.
We ain't seen him in the
but,
club.
you know
We
what's
legendary.
I don't really.
Y'all niggas is
I haven't been
washed.
out here in Atlanta much, but in terms of like, I still.
I'm
Now
just
the
fucking
first
with
few
you, bro.
years, the first few years, I cut out a lot. Like remember that I told you that third, fourth year I did get relaxed, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first few years
Oh,
I
you
didn't go
just-
on my line trip.
Yeah, I got you.
I didn't go back to homecoming. I missed my first Christmas at home.
Man.
Like I was using the cash method to go out.
Oh,
If I did go out, like it was like I was really sacrificed. It was very tough. It was very hard.
Okay.
But it developed new habits for
Right.
me. Now where I am, is still sacrificing, but just making it like my friend circle important stuff. Like tomorrow, I go to an important event. And that's why I'm traveling for that. Like making the important things and then bouncing away. But I'm still maintaining the sacrifice even along, but still having fun.
Right.
But just budgeting for it. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Like I know
smart.
it's coming
Being
up.
smart
I know
about
I'm going to it, so I'm gonna do that. So that's where I'm at. That's my story.
Hey,
And that's where I'm
That's
at
a hell
with
of a
things.
testimony
Yeah,
right there,
that's where I'm
man.
at.
That's a hell of a testimony, man.
Grinding.
All right, man. So let's wrap up, man. Basic Logic, man. I know you done learn some shit. Oh, you about to freestyle with this shit? Come on, what's up?
Fuck it up.
hey.
What? No. Jen, that's your shit. That hit the little Virginia jump for you.
Grinding. That is some VA shit.
What's up, Basic?
I just think the Chris Brown, he did the grinding beat. He did on his new on that indie.
Oh yeah, he did. I just listened to it
It's kind of
yesterday.
dope, bro.
I need to check that out. I ain't heard it.
That's the one that's like 40
down with
tracks.
it.
That's why you
Oh,
right in here.
nah, too many tracks, bro. Tell me
It's
exact
like
track. I
Cyrus.
go
I think
listen.
number 15.
I got it on my phone.
We
No,
don't need it.
we don't. Yeah, we don't care.
It's
We don't
Well,
care.
fuck y'all. Nah, but that beat was hard.
dope.
And I was
He
like, people don't
actually
even-
like did it pretty well. I was like, okay.
I'm gonna play it, but
Because I was
that's probably
disappointed in a couple of like on the DJ Khaled album, he tried to do the Outcast.
it. Okay,
Oh, that was bad.
That's a different album.
Bad. I know, but it was just
40
like
tracks. You gonna be disappointed. About
That's the
80
Gucci Man
albums,
message.
10 of them. What's up, Basin man? Wrap us up. What's up?
No, but this is a good conversation. This is like a conversation I feel like we need to have more as a people. I feel like I see people around me all the time that are like other groups and nationalities that are like coming together and saving, and they talk about money all the time. And I think in our community, it's everybody kind of, it's like, we don't like to talk about it. It's like, oh, bills. Oh,
Scared to say how much they make and shit.
Bill collectors, it's like, oh man, I don't want to talk about it, or avoid them and things of that nature. But you have to avoid these situations because it's stuff that's what's the word I'm thinking about when you pass stuff down from generation? Like it's like generational curses. Yeah, like kind of inherit those bad money traits. Like you're either scared of money or you don't know how to manage it. And a lot of us are making more money. And I tell people all the time, if you can't manage $30,000-$40,000 a year, you're not gonna be able to manage $200,000-$300,000 a year because it's the same thing.
Bruh, bring it down lower, nigga. You can't manage $400. What
True.
the fuck you talking about?
True.
40,000. What?
No, I'm just saying as far as like if that's what you get paid yearly. You know?
Okay. I thought you had.
Nigga, this nap been attacking
Hey,
anybody else.
that been
I did something earlier.
It's a little
one gnat.
It's a little gnat, and he like, fuck y'all. I'm hopping
He's
on.
like,
the
I
mic.
don't agree with this shit.
It's the fifth guest. No, but these are good conversations to have. And however, your financial journey is, I just feel like you definitely need to start it and talk with people who are knowledgeable. Like me, I'm pretty new to it. I think me and Kelvin both are, and we're transitioning into different parts of life. We're, making more money and stuff. And it's good for us to have conversations with people like you guys who know what to do with the money. Because a lot of us don't have, friends that, are real good with finance and stuff like that. So we need to make sure that, and the people that are out there listening, make sure, y'all shout out y'all socials again so people can hit y'all up. Jen, you love talking money, and MJ, with your hustle. I'm sure it's
I just
people.
love telling a story.
Yeah.
Yeah, his hustle is crazy.
Yeah, and
97.
And it's people,
At 97.
it's people that are hustling just like you, but maybe not like they're hustling, but not really, maybe not doing putting their money in the right place to really make it work. Because I know a lot of people with 3 jobs is still broke. And it's
They don't know where to put it.
Yeah, because they not doing it, or they're not really sure to do what they money. So however you save, is like Jen said, it's definitely a process that you have to start, and it is a sacrifice. Ain't none of this shit easy, just like it is with health. And you just got to start it, and start today. People get paid, and either this week or next, like, put something aside from your check and be like, I'm not gonna fuck with this.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Put some aside from your check and say,
Put this aside and don't fuck with it.
There it is.
Yeah, and I
That's
would.
a good.
I mean,
Put that on
I
the
just
shirt.
ended on just like MJ again, Young and Debt Free ATL, and
That's
I
spelled
love it.
traditional.
Yeah,
Y-O-U-n.
yeah.
Okay.
NGAND
you know it's a lot of ways.
Y-U-N-G. I don't see this nigga.
Spell out and Debt Free ATL. And I just love to tell my story, and I put it in the form. I'm a teacher. I just put it in the form of a curriculum. That is all just based on what I know. I don't talk about what I don't know. I just talk about what I know, what I experienced, and maybe it can help you. I do challenge you to become debt free, to be intentional about your money, to just jump on the journey and gain inspiration. Like a lot of people ask me, how did I stay motivated? I read a book called Think and Grow Rich, of course, and then I read a book called The Happiness Advantage. That's why I go around saying happy freaking Tuesday and happy freaking Wednesday, everyone. And that helped my mindset, and it helped learn me. And through this process, I learned a lot about myself. And I've never been at this most peace and this most happiness in my
Wow.
life.
Come
and
on.
so
Yeah,
that's
it
like
is.
Let us
He
know.
definitely said happy
bottom
Tuesday
line.
in the text.
And I did say that.
You did.
And then, so that's been like really the best part I got on the journey is really my peace and my happiness. And so I ran a marathon through this journey. Like I did a lot of great things that that I feel like the debt free journey really catapulted me to. And now, like I said, I'm going to be able to finally invest in something and not touch my paycheck.
Exactly.
And now I've reached out to a few people who are millionaires, and I said like, and I was blatantly like, what do I do?
Yeah.
Like,
Now
what's
I done
next?
paid off
And,
$97,000.
they was telling me it was wise to save for taxes. They knew I'm gonna get hit, and then they said after that, just stack.
Yeah.
Everyone kept saying, like every one of them, and they don't even all know each other.
Yeah.
They was like stack.
It's a method
Why
to
they
that
think
shit,
that
man.
the market will slow down eventually in the next year and a half
Oh
or
yeah,
two.
the recession.
But then they were also just like, the biggest thing I got of it, and I'm gonna say this and I believe, is prepare for opportunity. Right. And one of them I know is getting into the weed business in Illinois. Illinois just passed recreational marijuana, and he was like, "Yo, if I don't get approved this time, trust me, I'm getting approved by next year."
Right.
So he was like, "Just prepare. If I call you." And I call whoever, and I need 10 stacks. I need,
Drop it.
Hey, that's what
because he was saying
my
like they
mindset. I'm
need
trying to have it.
$400,000 like liquid
I'm trying to have it ready
just
for
to
him.
jump in. So
do
imagine who got that liquid, and he was saying because
It go 20.
it's federally like illegal still, like it's not legal federally, so you need so much cash. But
Yeah.
anyways, prepare for opportunity, and that's all. Like that's like my 20. Everybody got that 2020 like thing they going. Mine is like prepare for opportunity.
Right.
So that's what's up. So thank y'all for having me, and
Nah, appreciate you, MJ.
Yes.
Boom.
Okay, me. So I'm Jennifer again at ADLT_101. You laughing? No, but I mean,
No,
Oh, he
Oh, the nip.
Oh.
no, I was just saying. I think it's a really good conversation too. I said so MJ is hustle. I feel like I'm just really good about being intentional about money, and I know that it's like it's a journey. So if you are someone who is maybe haven't learned this or haven't taken the time to like figure it out, or maybe you don't have the best relationship with money, just challenge yourself to like start small and just be gradual and kind of rebuild your habit and your money mindset and do something that works for you. Because I know even like for me, I constantly compare the health journey to the finance journey, and I feel like for me, going to the gym has been up and down, ebbs and flow type situation. But I know the things that motivate me to do this, even when I don't want to, like having the gym be closer, or having a fun class, or just like maybe for you when it's talking about money, it's having separate accounts. Maybe it's using the CAS method, or doing zero-based budgeting, or finding something that really works for you. Because I think in the long run, it's really important. Like I always think about like older me, like how I want my older me to feel, how I want her to live, and the things I want for her. And so I'm always like thinking about that, being intentional about living in the moment, but also understanding that like I'm doing this for another purpose or another reason. So if you are someone who's like struggling on your financial journey, start small, figure out what works for you and figure out how to work within your mindset so that you can achieve your goals.
Boom.
Yes.
That's it, man. I mean, so the thing I see with this shit, man, this money, what I'm learning about this money shit, man, I'm coming in, I'm 33 coming in 34 next year. Hell.
Ooh, 33 going on 60.
Anyway, nigga. So what I'm saying is it's a method to all this shit. Like, people look at it and like it's magical. This shit can't happen for me. It's a method. You ask these people with money, it's steps. Do this, then do this, then do that. And you gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? But the problem most people have is keeping that method going. You know what I'm saying? The habits, just like you said.
Hustle, all that.
Yeah, but the habits. He developed the habits in fucking high school. Whenever you had them 3 jobs. We gotta work on developing habits, man. At the base of this shit is a habit. Saving money, investing money.
Spending money.
You know what I'm saying? Because you can invest your money in the wrong shit and be moving around too much and not gonna make as much. You know what I'm saying? So we gotta really focus on being habitual with this money shit, with everything in life. Fuck that, just money shit, relationship, everything with your people. Being habitual with that shit and keep moving, and that's what I think we need to focus on.
Habitual.
Wow. Okay.
That's where you want to take that.
All right.
Don't be a savior. Don't be a
Damn.
savior. If y'all have that type of family where you like got that savior mentality, learn how to balance that and cut most of it off.
Yeah, cause you got to
That shit
do
ain't
something with
gonna
that
get
money,
you
man. Cause
Yeah.
I know how I grew up. I grew up in a household
We
where
talk about your money.
I
so.
know. I grew up in a household.
I know.
I grew up in a household where the husband and the wife would not share money information with each other because they just didn't trust it.
Child.
They used to tell us,
This nigga going
don't tell nobody about your money. Don't tell your wife. Don't tell nobody.
This nigga-
They died. They died and we didn't know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they just kept them.
It's not your business.
Yeah.
Mind your business.
You know what I'm saying? But
Mind
they
the
would,
business that pays.
yeah, but they would trust this white lawyer or whoever. You know what I'm saying? I worry about my grandparents. So
know.
you know what I'm saying?
Mind the business that pays.
Yeah,
you.
and that's how they felt. And they pushed that down. I rejected it, but they pushed that down to their children. And my mama didn't really know about finances and shit. You know what I'm saying? So she ain't had nothing to offer to me. So I had to learn it on myself. Now I'm trying to pass that shit on to all of my people. You, my goddamn sisters, everybody I care about. I'm trying to pass the shit along. Now I ain't on no level like y'all, but whatever I know, I'm like, hey, this podcast, hey man, we have people, experts on here who know about the shit, and all I know is we need the habits, man. Everything, working out, that shit habits.
I know.
It's the base of shit. Habits. Studying, being good in good grades, it's habits. It ain't fucking rocket science, man. I've been saying that shit a lot. It ain't rocket science, it's just habits. So let's just do that shit, man. We need to do an episode on habits, nigga. Who the fuck we can talk to about habits?
We'll think of something.
We don't know nobody, nigga.
We'll think of
I don't
something.
know. Hey man, let's finish the episode with a shot, goddamn it. Come on,
wow.
Jennifer.
Wow.
This the sweet one. It ain't no big one. You going across the
HBCUs.
street, man. Hey,
Some money.
HBCUs, man.
Some
And money, goddamn.
Money. You gotta play the Cardi B song.
Nah, before you go, because I looked on.
Damn, man.
I looked
I
on.
gotta use the bathroom now.
I looked on the Instagram and saw you at 96. Now I think
96. He said 96.
you're at
400.
96, so I feel like I can pass you along about 35 so you can get that 100K will look better in the header. I'm just telling you. Just hold that. You get rid of 3,000. You can get rid of that in about what, 2 months?
You want him to get his 3,000 so he
pass
can
go,
pay.
bro.
Get rid of
I
that.
pass go, bro.
Hey man, appreciate y'all tuning in, man. I'll make sure y'all fuck with the podcast, man. Instagram, Words with KB Podcast, Twitter, Words with KB Pod. Leave that review, goddamn. New season right now, goddamn, if you listen.
Goddamn.
So we got MJ, we got ADLT, one-on-one in the building.
I ain't heard
Spell that one more time, bro.
Young and debt free ATL. All spelled out young AND debt free ATL.
You.
Oh shit.
We out.
Goddamn. Man,
The
I'm
day-
freshman year. That's all I'm saying.
You